Dear chess friends, welcome to the live broadcast of the round 6 of the World Youth Under 16 Chess Olympiad.
Today we have 9 teams, 6 teams sharing the lead as 3 teams for 9 points, namely Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan and Uzbekistan, and there are also teams with 8 points, namely Belarus, China and Bulgaria. So 6 teams are competing for the lead, and we have interesting pairings today.
So let's see the pairings of today. These important matches of today starts with, on the first board, Azerbaijan versus Kazakhstan, on the second board Uzbekistan versus Belarus, and on the third board China versus Bulgaria. All these 6 teams, they are on the first 6 places, and especially Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan with 9 points, they are sharing the lead. So we'll start with the first board which is Azerbaijan versus Kazakhstan, one of the most important matches of this round. Okay, so on the first board of Azerbaijan, Muhammed Muratlı, a very strong international master from Azerbaijan, Muhammed Muratlı, 2459, is facing Kazibek Nogerbek, a FIDE master, 2387 from Kazakhstan. This is the position. Let's see. Looks like a Queen's Gambit accepted. So probably it transposes. Actually, if e4 has been pushed now in this position, of course this is called Vienna variation with bishop b4. But if as white didn't want to push this and go to these complications because it's a long variation and it needs to have a good theory knowledge. So a6 now, a4 of course is possible in order to prevent b5. This move is possible, and of course after this move black has this b4 square for his knight, but this is the variation. Sometimes you have to give something in order to get something.
Such as life goes, because yes, this is a balance in life.
Okay, good philosophy. Okay, so do you have anything to say, Erkin, on this position?
In this position, I recall some of the Botvinnik games in which white continues with bishop to c4 and b5, bishop c4, b5, bishop b3. Bishop b3 is also possible, bishop b7.
Actually looks like after c5 maybe some kind of Meran also. Yes,
queen e2
transposes as well. Bishop b7, queen e2. e4 also is possible, yes. Queen e2, yeah.
c5.
But e4 is sacrificing a pawn.
Because there's b4.
After b4, yes.
So c5 and castles. Yes. Knight c6, rook d1. This is the main line of this position. White is just willing to enter the isolated pawn structure in return of a weak square on e5. He can hop with knight to e5, and also the isolated pawn offers white some attacking prospects.
If cd4 is taken, then this is a typical isolated pawn formation. But in this such kind of lines, usually this c5 square is weak, and which is of course something that black should be always aware of, this c5 square, because if the knight goes to c5, white will have an advantage. And also in order not to have this isolated pawn formation to play against this formation, sometimes black differs from this variation and goes to queen c7 and bishop e7, and waiting for white to push e4 and then taking on d4, which is a sacrifice usually for white playing e5, or very complicated lines happen in this case. But probably this is not the case now. We will see the game when it will be developed further.
He's still thinking about taking on c4 or not to take on c4.
Yes, now of course this is what we were explaining, that if a4 white plays a4, then b4 square of course is weak. If he doesn't play, then b5, of course some initiative on the queen side for black. This initiative usually if you look from the white's point of view, is a little bit disturbing, because c4 is possible later on, b4 is possible, c takes d4. You have to deal with all these pawn pushes, pawn breaks sometimes. Usually the typical idea is to play a4. You know, you don't want to give this initiative. You just give maybe one weak square, this a4, but you don't want to give this initiative to black.
You know, we also discussed these positions with Grandmaster Ferit Abbasov on our live broadcast, and he also mentioned that if black pushes b5, c5, and c4, white has an initiative on the king side and the center as well, with the e4. Also, I have small notes to you if you want to check this out. There are games like Oyve versus Reshevsky with this c4 idea, and also with the isolated pawn, there's a famous game of Spassky versus Avtamov, and there is one game with, you know, Queen e2, Rook d1 isolated pawn idea, namely Botvinnik versus Vidmar. There are 3 games that you may check out.
Okay, now let white think about his move now. So we move to the second board of this important match. On the second board, Aydın Süleymanlı, another strong international master from Azerbaijan with 24-26 elo, is facing a very strong woman, actually grandmaster, but she is not using her woman grandmaster title. She is using her FIDE master title. She is very strong, really very strong player, Bibisara Asabayeva, and she has 23-81 elo. Until now, I don't know how many points she's got. Maybe you can check from.
She is 3.5 out of 5 with +3 elo.
Yes, 3.5, and she's of course competing with all the strong men on the first boards. You know, as you can see, she has a very good actually points on 3.5 is of course more than 50%, which is a very good score in this actually field. So let's see this game. Asabayeva Süleymanlı. Asabayeva is playing white pieces. Okay, it's interesting.
Probably Slav exchanged.
Yes, Slav exchange with an early bishop f4. Why early bishop f4? Maybe you may ask why knight c3 first and not bishop f4. What do you think?
I think probably first knight 3 to c3 is a little bit better, because there is a knight c3, knight c6, and e4. I particularly don't like the bishop on early.
Knight c3?
Knight c3, knight c6, and e4. This is better, like knight c6 and
no,
e4.
I mean after knight f6.
So there is also bishop f4.
You can play bishop f4. It
transposes.
But why first knight bishop f4?
I don't like it because there is queen b6.
Why you don't like it? But this is all, this kind of lines can be played. No, it's just I'm asking you why she's changing the move.
I really don't know.
Okay, so
there's
this
also
is interesting line.
Early queen b6 against bishop f4.
Yes. Okay, bishop f4, knight c6 has been played. E3, knight c3 now. Of course, it transposes. And a6, bishop e2. This bishop e2 also, the move orders in this line actually is very important. You can consider first knight f3, then bishop e2. But if you play knight f3 first, then bishop g4 is possible. So white prevents this idea. Now you cannot move your bishop to g4. You can go to f5, but in this case, this d5 pawn and b7 pawn might be weak. So maybe in this case,
rook a7 after
queen b3. I don't know. Maybe
rook a7.
b5 also. Maybe b5 is not possible. Maybe a4 or something.
You know, the a6 idea is based
also,
on the fact.
I think in this line, g4 line also is possible. I think this is also one of the ideas of white.
It is actually a similar structure arising after the game of Botvinnik versus Petrosyan.
Yes,
you know,
so this is probably the idea of white, to push g4, h4, and to get the initiative on the king side. Okay, so after bishop e2, black now keeps the bishop inside his pawn chain. Actually, this is what usually white wants, because now this bishop on c8 is very passive, is not in the game, and hasn't any squares to be active in this position. So he closed, in a way, black decides to close his bishop and to be on the safe side. It's of course a solid variation, but a bit passive. Rook c1, bishop d6, bishop take, queen takes.
You know, another reason for delaying knight f3 is to push f4 after you exchange the bishops on d6.
Yes, true. This is also one of the lines. Usually these f4 lines happen on the when the bishop on g5, and sometimes in this case especially on Trompowsky lines, in some lines of London system, this f4 move is very popular. Also in some Queen's Gambit decline variations, f4 is possible. So this is one of the ideas, typical ideas in such kind of setups. So after castling, white castles, b5. Now of course black wants to activate his pawns on the queen side, because on the king side white has the initiative, and black wants to have the initiative on the queen side. Now any other
knight e5,
knight e5, bishop b7 now happened. So what do you think about this position?
I think white needs to play bishop d3 to defend the e4 square, as well as the black's idea of playing knight f5, queen c7, knight d6, knight e4. You need to take the knight over f5, but I don't know if it gives good prospects for white, because after bishop d3, knight f5, you can show the moves. There is nice idea of black's knight f5, bishop f5, actually a dubious move, e f5, and now the e file belongs to the black, in which he can use of it like rook e8, knight to somewhere, and f6.
Yes, sure. It's, actually what Erkin says is very true. Now in this case, this e3 pawn of course is very weak. You may consider, you can tell, okay, but I have a knight on a5, but of course this knight, because of the pawn on f7, might always be pushed away from this square. So this knight is not there forever. If there was no pawn here, then you could consider, okay, we have a knight there, this e3 pawn weakness is not a big deal, I have the knight. But now we don't have such kind of position, so we have to deal with this weakness. So when the knight goes to f5, now we have to think, we have to protect this knight on this pawn on e3, and then maybe develop an attack with g4, g5 on the king side, maybe on the queen side with a4, queen e2, doubling on the c line. This is the, of course, typical ideas of such kind of exchange Slav variation. Okay, we'll see what will happen in this game. It will be a very double-edged position, I think.
But I think black has no problems, because if white cannot take over f5, there is queen b6 and knight d6 and knight e4. You know, knight
yes, sure. This
e4,
is
blocking the position.
All these lines are typical maneuvers. You know, knight f6, knight d6, knight. All these lines, typical maneuvers. Black, of course, will want to use all these weakened squares. You know, e4, f5, c4, all these squares. But the problem with black is this bishop b7 always will be a problem, because it will take a lot of time for this bishop to enter in the game. And also, meanwhile, this bishop always having better prospects on the queen side and also on the king side, because of queen coming on d3 on this diagonal. But of course, after some knight e4 move in the future, which is always possible, because when the knight goes to e4, if you exchange on e4, then there will be another outpost for the knight on d5. So d5 square is, of course, is a very important square, and it's a perfect square for the knight, always attacking the e3 pawn. So white has to deal with all these, problems when she plays this game. Okay, let's go to the third board of this match. Ahmet Ahmadzada, another strong international master of Azerbaijan, 2406, is facing a FIDE master from Kazakhstan, Aristan Isanzulov, with 2305 ELO.
Another London, another d4 type position.
Yes, another London system with bishop f4, a little bit, not immediately, but after knight f3 has been played.
I think direct bishop f4 is more to the point, because you can as well play for f4 idea.
Yeah, sure, but this is also possible. Sometimes white maybe is delaying this bishop f4 idea for some other reasons. We don't know yet. Maybe he has some other ideas in his mind. Okay, so bishop d6, early sortie, let's say, of this bishop on d6 is a typical way of dealing with this London system. But lately, after bishop d6, actually, usually white plays bishop g3. Black doesn't want to exchange. Why he doesn't want to exchange?
Because rook comes into play after h takes g3.
If in this case, if black exchanges on g3, h takes g3, as Erkin pointed out, all this h line will be opened up, so white will have a strong attack on the h line.
So there is a rule of thumb. It goes like that: do not exchange pieces if you develop your opponent's position afterwards.
So black now attacks in the center with c5, c3, queen c7, again trying to control the e5 square, or maybe push at some point e5, of course, which is not the case now. Knight takes c6. This is strange. Immediately exchanging this knight, really strange. Anyway, let's see.
B takes c6 was probably not that possible, because there is d takes c5.
Yes,
d6,
after b6, as Erkin pointed out, this is not possible because of dc5 and then losing a pawn. Okay, so this knight takes c6, queen takes c6, bishop d3. Now black, I think, played some other moves. Knight c. Not what? No, he didn't play. He didn't play.
It is his move.
It's his move now. He's thinking now. What do you think about this exchange on c6? Interesting.
Rather weird, but it works because, you know, otherwise white needs to play bishop b5. As we saw in the first round's game, Turkmenistan versus Russia, you know,
here bishop, but now bishop b5, knight d7.
No, before knight d5 idea.
It's Kessin, but he didn't play. That's why he didn't play knight c6. He castled first.
He just prevented bishop b5 idea.
This is actually a better version. I mean, delaying c5, and then after knight d2, and in this case now knight e5. Now knight c6 came.
But you know, the point was probably white can take over d6 after, let's see, instead of knight e5, take, because he lost the tempi, bishop takes c6, and play knight e5.
Yes, but this is the case like f4. This is the case like we were checking the game of Bibisar Asaboyeva. Maybe not exactly the same, but looks very similar.
But white is tempi up compared with the other position.
Very true. Yes, white looks like a tempi, but maybe not. Maybe let's say first bishop d3.
That's why he's a tempi up.
Castles, bishop b7.
On b5.
No, sorry, b6. And let's say bishop castles, and now bishop b7.
Queen f3.
Maybe this is the same. Almost the same.
But knight cannot go e4.
Maybe you're
little
right.
difference.
Little different.
Because after knight f5 there is g4. Now I am just in time.
You're right. Actually, tempi up. True.
Maybe bishop takes d6 was a better alternative.
Yes, sure. Maybe you're right.
But after knight f to d7 is also possible.
Okay. So now this is exchanging the knight and bishop d3. Now black has to find a good idea actually. Maybe rook e8 in order to play e5. Maybe, I don't know, b6.
b6, a5, bishop a6. No, another idea comes into mind. B6.
But always queen e2, so this is not so easy to exchange this bishop. So I'm not sure about here what to play. To me, rook e8 looks like a nice idea.
Take and f4. Bishop d6.
Takes f4. But this is actually not so, I mean, difficult to play because
f3, but there's no knight on
too
e5.
many pieces. No? You know, the attack has no actually prospect now. You exchange too many pieces now. Knight f3, but knight e4 is always possible. And after knight f6, I will just, you know, kick away with the f6. And so this is maybe not so, I mean, good. Also in this case, after c takes d4, you have to take with the c pawn, which is also good for black. You know, open up the c line, and you will have this weak pawn on e3 all the time. I'm not sure about this f4 move.
Okay. White needs to play knight f3 then.
What will white will play? I don't know.
Maybe knight f3 then.
Knight f3, but then after knight f3.
How about knight d7?
Or maybe knight e4. Is it bad knight e4? What's wrong with knight e4? I don't know.
Take knight e5. This is all equal. And probably knight d7 and e5 is even a better try.
Knight d7 also looks possible. Because the sacrifice is not possible, and in the end knight f6 coming. This is not a typical way of playing. In this case,
it's not Greek gift that you.
Maybe here possible, yes, because f7 is hanging, the rook on a8. So maybe this is knight d7 is not possible. So probably you have to play. Let's say knight e4. Something like this, or b6, bishop b7, and after knight e5, queen c7. This line also is possible. Okay, looks like black has it doesn't have too much problems in this opening. So let's go to the last board of this match. Govhar Bedullayeva, woman FIDE master from Azerbaijan. Actually, both of the teams they are making play her women players, which they are supposed to make them play for 6 rounds.
It is 3 rounds.
For 3 rounds. Sorry. We just made this mistake in the beginning. Actually, we have to correct this mistake. I'm still continuing to make the same mistake. But for 3 rounds, they have to play. So they are using their women players in one of the most important matches, because the women players also, they are very strong players. If you look at the ELO points of, for example, Bedullayeva, Govhar Bedullayeva, 22.89 ELO, woman FIDE master. Also, Nazarke Nurgali, woman FIDE master, 21.94.
Nurgali Nazarke is 4 out of 4 so far.
Really? What about Bedullayeva?
Bedullayeva is 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. Both of them, they have a very good score.
Already played for 3 times.
Yes. So let's see this interesting actually game. Okay, Nurgali plays G3 Catalan system. Bishop b4, bishop e7. Okay, now the bishop on d2. Black doesn't want to exchange. This is also one of the lines played by black. Knight d7, queen c2, bishop f4, knight f d2. This is interesting, this move. g5. Yes, this g5 move, we have to say something about this g5 move. Actually, after the computer age, you know, we started to see this kind of moves very often. And we were speaking in the earliest rounds about, for example, in the Sicilian defense, h5 move at the earlier stage. Before, we were always thinking that pushing the pawns in front of the king on the one black or white castles short, you know, it looks like weakening your king side. But now the conception and
has been changed
a lot with the computer era, and now black or white are pushing their pawns with ease and getting some advantage, initiative on the king side usually. So we don't have to be afraid of such kind of moves. And G5 is one of these typical ideas in this kind of lines. G5, later on F5 with the idea F4 or G4. So knight takes E4, G takes F4.
How about bishop E3 instead of knight takes
Yeah,
E4?
bishop E3 is possible.
Probably it is a better
It's
move.
possible, but after F5 I think black equalizes in this line. This is this line because it has been played many times.
The G5
Yeah,
line.
this is a good move, G5. But this line I don't know. Knight takes E4 and F5. I'm not sure about this line. Most probably this is also theory.
Actually, black stands out for the better chances, you know, Queen E8, Queen H5, Queen H6 maybe, right now.
Well, I'm not sure about this. Because
Black
bishop F3, King G2 and King Rook H1 is always an idea for white, and also you just weakened your pawns and also your king side, of course.
Are you so quick to come as well? Queen H6,
Bishop F3.
Knight G4.
I can take here. I don't
FG,
see the problem
and
here.
you play King G2.
Why not?
There's two knights versus two bishops, but the position
Yes,
is
but
closed.
you can Rook here is coming immediately. But of course you can have some E5
Dynamic
moves.
chances.
Yeah, some chances. I'm not sure. Maybe sacrificing on F4 and then Queen H3. But doesn't
But after
look.
Rook F4, there's Rook H1.
Yes, Rook F4, Rook H1, and intermediate move. So so it may be still possible. Rook takes F2 lines or something like this.
King
But
F2.
anyway, it doesn't look like some, because you didn't complete your development.
Actually, our moves have been played by both players, Queen H6 and Bishop F3.
Yes,
They both play.
well, it looks actually very obvious, this idea for white, because white wants to have the advantage now on the king side. Usually, in such kind of stonewall type of positions, setups, white wants to have initiative on the queen side, and black wants to have initiative on the king side. But after this weakening on the king side, we change our plan. We go and we start to look on the king side. Now our eyes on the king side, on the right side of the board. So we concentrate on the side, because look at this position. The H line is open. I want to double my rooks on the H line, and maybe at some point go with one knight to E5 square. Maybe.
You know, today's chess is far from the typical ideas. As normally you point that black's idea is to attack on the king's side, but tables are turned. This is the modern chess.
Yes,
there
modern chess.
Full of exceptions.
Exactly. Black actually made this with G5 move. I don't know if G5 move was the correct one or not, but I think there is such kind of theory. Of course, we should know very well the move order. Well, at which point you push G5 pawn. Okay, we'll see this after Bishop F3. Now, Beydullayeva I think is thinking.
It's
of course, black's move. So I think white prepared this line very well. So let's go to Uzbekistan-Belarus match. Uzbekistan, as we all know, is the last year's champion, and they are a very strong team. They have two grandmasters on their first two boards. Nodirbek Abdusattarov with 26.08 elo is the strongest player of this Olympiad. And also another strong grandmaster, Javokir Sindarov with 25.13 is the second strongest player of this Olympiad. So they have two strongest players in their first two boards. They started with some shaky matches, but later on they recovered, Uzbekistan. So they are now sharing the first place.
Yes, they only drew with America or none? They are drew
I don't remember exactly.
Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan.
You know, the game was
actually
Madalina
Azerbaijan
versus
is not
Beyduleva.
very strong. Azerbaijan.
They are the first seed.
Yes,
Uzbekistan
they
is
were
started
almost losing.
6 points.
Maybe as far as I remember, they almost lost, and they just at some point.
Madaminov won against Beyduleva.
Yes, yeah. So okay, Belarus actually they started very well, 4 out of 4 win, and the first 4 rounds. But later on, they started to play with very strong team. They lost against, I think, Kazakhstan.
Yes.
And
yes,
now, of course, they started to face very strong teams. So they have a lot of things to do now. Let's go to the
first game.
Yes, the first board, Abdusattorov is playing versus Denis Lazovic. Okay, let's see. Denis Lazovic, how many points he's got?
Denis Lazovic is 3.5 out of 5. He's plus 14 ELO, and he is already 2368 ELO. He's, as we already mentioned, number 18 in his age category, under 16.
Yes.
He's only 13 years old.
Yes. He's very talented, young, very young actually, boy, and playing on the first board of Belarus. So let's see this game, and also facing a very strong grandmasters. Probably Nodirbek Abdusattorov, he's now 15 or something, yes?
He's 15 years old.
Probably 15 years old, yeah.
Queen E2.
Okay, this is a typical French defense.
Rubinstein D takes C4.
Well, actually, exchanging everything usually is what black wants. But it's, this is what white plays. Bishop G5, H6, and Bishop E7. This is a strange move to me. Now
castles queenside, let's say.
Now white played, yes, castles queenside. He played. Okay. Now this queen C7 actually move, Bishop E7 move actually, I don't know.
He prepares for the Queen C7. That's why.
I don't like it too much. Queen C7, but always I have Bishop G3. I don't know, maybe some other stuff.
Knight E5. Just put the knight and play F4, G4.
Yeah.
Now, I probably prefer knight E5 and F4 and G4. This is too direct.
And also there is some kind of maybe not so good, but this is also you have to be always be aware of this line, because after H6, H5, G4 is possible, which is a very quick and strong attack. Very quick and strong attack. So how to deal with this, I don't know about this position. We should maybe rook somewhere and accepting the fact that you can give check, but there is nothing else. But I'm not sure about
first play G4,
because I play G4, H4. This attack will still be developed here. So I don't know. Black doesn't look like black played it right this opening.
You know, the system has.
He played something Queen A5.
Queen A5. The system looks like a quiet one for black, for white, but it comes harsh in the later.
Yeah, this looks like a better idea actually.
King
Now
B1.
attacking A2. Okay, let's say King B1.
How to develop rest? Bishop D7? No. Bishop D7. There is knight E5.
Bishop D7. Yes, doesn't look like a good move.
Rook D8. Let's say the other alternative.
Rook D8. What for Rook D8?
To play Bishop D7. And Bishop E8. You know.
Yes.
I'm creating some room for my bishop on E8.
Now, if you look at this position, at first glance, we see that black's development is not enough. So white developed very well. He developed all his pieces. He castled. He put his queen in safety. He is ready to attack. I can even maybe push even G4 here, because this G4, you know, this G4 movement. After rook, let's say, for example, D rook D8, G4 cannot be taken. And I want to push G5. After pushing G5, I open up the G line, which is actually very, very dangerous for black. A very strong attack actually will come on the G line. So I don't know. Black, I'm not sure Black played right in this. I mean, French defense. I mean, probably some mistake at some point.
To me, the problem is rather a basic one. If you play d takes c4, you play in white's hands because white just develops a piece, and your c8 bishop is not developing so quickly. So this system, actually, d takes c4 is hard to play. I don't know where he made the
mistake. D takes c5 might be another way of playing in this line.
Actually, there are early b6 instead of castling.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. This c5 takes, d takes c5.
Okay, bishop c5, and instead of knight to d7, there are lines also starting with bishop d7 and bishop c6. You just give the bishop.
Or maybe sometimes queen a5 check and queen takes c5. Now and then bishop e7. You develop your bishop on e7, and you have already your queen on c5, which is a good square for in this line. And then you can play b6 and bishop b7.
Also, you can delay castling to play bishop d7, c6, or b6, bishop b7.
Yes.
You delay castling.
Yes. I don't know. Maybe there is some nuance here. Okay, so we'll see. But I think white has a very good position after, let's say, king b1 after king b1. Okay, he played king b1, which is a very natural move. And now black is facing big problems. Okay, so let's move to the second board of this match. Sindarov Javokir is playing with black pieces against Maxim Saruk. Maxim Saruk, let's speak about Maxim Saruk as well. He is also a very young and very talented player from Belarus. Maybe he has 22-30 in a relatively, low elo, but he plays much higher than his elo. I know what about his
record?
Yeah.
He's 3.5 out of 5, and he's plus 23 elo.
Yes.
Actually, the numbers are doubled in chess 24 because chess 24 calculates the elo improvements according to the k factor 20.
At 20.
The youngsters have the 40
some
k
of
factor.
Them.
Some of them. Unless they not reach the
30 games. 30 games, yes.
And Saruk is just earning 46 elo so far. Well, he's about to be a FIDE master.
Yes. Yes, it's actually his game actually proves it. He's a very talented player. But today, now, what's going on here?
He on
two pieces for
yes,
the
this
rook.
is the theoretical position.
Now let's see this game. Okay. A6, Spanish game, knight takes e4, open Spanish, and bishop e6, knight d2, bishop c2. This is a theoretical line, an old line probably.
But he played c3. C3 was not the ideal move.
C3 was not the right move.
Yes, there's simply knight takes e4. No. Here he played
bishop e6, c3.
Yes, c3 is the move.
Yes, so he played c3.
Bishop c5, knight bt2, castles.
Where he made bishop c2, maybe you don't like.
No, I mixed the move order. I thought that knight bt2 was played.
So this is normal.
C2, knight f2. Yes, this is the main line, and it's played for 200 times.
So what is the result?
What is the result? Results are for 23% of the game, white has won.
23 only.
47 of the games are drawn.
Yes.
And 30% for black. Actually, in total, it is like 45% for white and 55%
black
for
has
black.
better chances.
Yes, actually, the interesting point is Saruk thought for like 40 minutes on his clock.
So he doesn't know this line.
Sindarov also plays
very fast.
1
hour 32 minutes on his clock, because it's already theory. If you don't know such kind of lines, actually, you have a big problem, a big problem. So you remember we were checking a game which one Azerbaijan player, I think, in the Benoni defense with bishop d5 check, and then sacrificing, take queen h4 check and take a knight h1. Yes, this was also very theoretical theory. Yeah, And there was Ivan Sokolov's analysis in this time. Bishop f4 was the good move instead of taking on c5. So when you play such kind of lines, actually, you have, especially, you have to know this very tactical lines. The first actually thing you have to do is to check these tactical lines, because these tactical lines, if you miss one move, then you lose the game.
You know, as analyzing and evaluating for the position, you look for the forcing moves for the first priority. You need to study openings in the same manner. You need to check the forcing lines first.
So now, of course, it's not so easy for black. What is the best move here?
For white, it is the bishop to e3, most widely played move.
Actually, it's bishop e3. This the last thing a man would think, because knight g4 is coming. You know.
But also knight takes f3 is just dangerous.
Yes,
you know?
also this is also dangerous.
It continues like bishop e3, rook a to e8, or knight takes f3.
Let's see,
rook
yes.
a to e8.
Let's see one game here.
Let's see one game. There is a game.
Good game. Let's see.
A good game. There's a game who in which black won. Short versus Yusupov.
A new one. Old one probably.
What?
Yusupov short. Old
This
one.
is the
do
old
we
one.
have a new game?
New
A
game.
recent one of the recent games. Do we have?
Actually, the best games. There is one game. Actually, short was white on the old game, and the new game short was black, playing against Max Illingworth.
When he played?
2015.
And this is the newest one, huh?
And this is the newest one.
So probably it's not played very often. I don't know why. But anyway, let's see this game.
This game continues as bishop c5,
Yes.
knight f3,
Yes.
gf3, rook f7, king g1, and black just went on to the endgame by queen takes f3.
Alright, now 3 points. 3 pawns. No, 2 pawns.
2 pawns.
Two pawns
Yes,
and,
take rook
2
e1.
pawns
This is equal endgame. Rook e1, g6, and the games continue for a
So
little
what
bit.
is the result?
Draw.
Okay, so not a big deal.
But Yusupov lost the first game against Yusupov. Short lost the first game against
With white.
Yusupov. With white.
Uh-huh.
In
So afterwards,
1989
he decided to play this line
as black.
as black, because this probably this line may be still good for black. I don't know. We have to check this line.
Maybe.
Of course, the computer gives many moves, maybe slight advantage for white, but we don't know. We have to check.
He played
As
what?
Sindarov plays this,
Sarok played what? Bishop e3 or not?
there is something on g3, king g3.
Well,
What kind of move
really?
is this? King, what? No, knight. What is this? King
Knight
G,
g3 or king g3?
king g3. Is it? What kind of move is this?
Actually, no.
Very strange move.
Did you really play king g3?
Looks like king g3. Yes. There's nothing on f2. There's king on g3. Is there a move like this? King g3.
No, there is no such
Very
move like
brave
this.
king on g3. Actually, very interesting move. There's no such kind of move. You are also shocked.
Did he?
We are also shocked with this move.
Did he really play king g3?
Yeah, look at the position.
Too brave.
Yes, exactly.
What does he want to play? Queen takes f3 after knight f3? No, there's queen e5 check, bishop f4. Oh,
King g3. Very interesting, actually. King g3.
you know, the idea is understandable. He wants to take with his queen after knight takes f3.
And he wants to play most probably h3,
King h2.
king h2, but I can take on f3 anyway. Or maybe he wants to play bishop b3 now. No, he played it, but there's when you. This is the move over the board.
Really
You
creative.
cannot believe your eyes, but I don't see. Let's say for example bishop g4. Why not bishop g4 here? I cannot play bishop g4.
Queen d5 check and queen takes e5.
Ah, okay, it's not possible. Sorry. d5 is.
Hanging.
So most probably he calculated many lines, because he's thinking for such a long time. He has only 38 minutes in his clock, He is thinking for such a long time. Before you play such kind of brave move, you have to, of course, calculate all the line possibilities for black. And he decided that black doesn't have too many threats. Now I can play safely my king, let's say safely under the brackets, my king to g3. Okay, now Sindarov, I think, must be very surprised.
Actually,
he has to think, of course, for a while in order to refute this novelty, let's say. This is a novelty, yes?
Obviously.
You don't have such kind of move. Okay. Okay, we'll see this game later on, because there is a novelty in this game which will be discussed most probably in the theory of this line. Okay, we'll go to Ali Kasimov on the third board of Uzbekistan, FIDE Master 2166. Actually interesting, FIDE Master, but with 2166 elo, relatively low elo. And facing another FIDE Master, Ivan Runets, with 2288 elo. Okay. Kasimov Runets.
This is, you know, the line that we talked about.
Hedgehog system that.
With Jakub Ertuğrul.
Yes.
He just recommended G6
You can also say Maroczy type of position, Hedgehog type of position. But this line with, of course, the already fianchetto on bishop on g7 is much different than the normal line, because in the normal lines the bishop on e7 and loses a tempo, rook e8, bishop f8, bishop g7, g6. Here black has a much easier game now.
He wants to play e5 at some moment, but this is not probably possible currently since there is knight d5. But if black can play e5, in any case, he will have some counter chances in the e file, or also onto the e4 pawn, and knight has a good square for jump, namely knight e5. You know, white's black's main idea is to push e5, and white's is to push e5 as well.
Yes, but when black pushes e5, of course he has to deal with d5 square, because when your queen is on c7 now, after knight d5, in the case of exchanging on d5, c takes d5, and you will have a hole on c6, which will be, of course, a very dangerous thing for black. And that's why e5 is not so easy to do.
For now.
Yes,
he needs to play rook a d8, rook f e8, and queen b8.
Yes.
And then think about e5.
White, of course, can force black to play e5 with f5, for example. But in this case, usually black doesn't want to push e5. Usually e8. Protecting with e8. And now, as Erkin pointed out, black uses this e5 square for her knight, which is a very strong outpost for the knight, controlling everything in the center of the board.
Actually, Ali Kasimov played for the queenside attack with b4 instead of f5.
Yes, this is now also typical plan for white to play on the queen side, especially with this pawn majority, with a4, a5, weakening this queen's side and open up the lines for the rooks. We'll see. This position, of course, is very double-edged position, but I don't know. I prefer white.
Me either, but black needs to close the position up after a4. There are a5 ideas, but in this case, I don't know about it because ba5, and knight b5, you know.
I think queen b8 has been played.
A typical move.
Yes, this queen b8. Now I don't know what he will play after a4. Let's say a4. I want to push a5. Either. So he cannot play a5. What will be the plan against a5? Because after a5, I will have a very strong initiative on the queen side. I will try to weaken all these pawns, especially the a6 pawn, b6 pawn, or these squares will be weakened. my knight will have some outpost on the queen side of black. So to prevent this, usually black wants to play b5 after a5, or wants to take on a5, but if the knight on c6. Now I don't know what, maybe queen a8, let's say, attacking the
but there's
e4.
bishop g1, bishop g1,
bishop g1, let's say,
and it is over.
and what else can I do? Can I push d5? Let's say I push d5.
Your a6 pawn or CD, ED, and E5, you know, a typical response.
Yes,
CD,
I have to play this kind of thing.
and
CD,
E5.
E5, let's say
Knight
knight
E4.
E4.
Maybe take and bishop c4 or no.
I'm not sure.
Maybe bishop d4 now. Just hold everything. Bishop
Bishop
d4.
d4, but then I don't know. Is it?
I want to play knight d2.
Usually this bishop doesn't belong to d4. This knight belongs to d4, because after bishop d4, after knight d4, you have many threats, because the knight on b3 is now doesn't look very nice. I have to put it back to the game, this knight on b3. Maybe I can take here, I don't know. Take.
I'm playing knight d2.
And now knight
d2 simply.
and trying to take the pawn. Also,
Pawn is lost, I guess.
knight d2.
Maybe f5 is holding, but f5 is holding.
f5, yes. Yes, maybe some still black is holding this position. Takes, knight takes.
Why do we take? We may also play knight c4, knight d6, a dangerous idea.
Knight c4, yes, very good idea. Actually, this is maybe black now is in trouble after knight
Probably
c4,
so.
knight d6. So actually, not to take is of course much better than taking, because this bishop also is closed now, and there's no, I mean, immediate
Actually,
way of putting it into game.
Cosmo played a prophylactic move, knight d2. Yes.
I don't
instead of
understand this.
a4, instead of a4, he played
No,
knight to
actually,
d2
I wouldn't play this knight d2. It looks very passive move.
to prevent d5. But
Yes.
you have no idea of a4 right now.
But now after knight d2, the problem is this.
Instead of a4, instead of
Yes.
a4.
Yes, instead of a4, knight
He
d2.
played knight
But the
d2.
problem is, you didn't play a5, yes?
So he cannot play a5. I will reply with a3. But you know, I don't like the position of knight on d2 either, because you cannot push a4 right now.
Yes, what if I wait? What is the plan of white?
I would like
What you cannot,
rook
if you
f2
play
e8.
a4, I have a5. So this, because after a4, if you don't have a knight on b3, is a not good idea, because a5 and then c5 square is will be weakened. So black will have no problem. Maybe you give the b5 square, but still, I don't think black will have any problems with this. Well, anyway, we'll see. Maybe knight d2 is a good move.
Maybe bishop g1 was a better waiting move, with the same idea of protecting
Maybe he didn't
e4.
want to deal with such kind of d5 moves.
Probably.
Although, as far as we can see, it didn't look very promising for black. But anyway, okay. Maybe we go to the now. We finish this game now to analyze this game. Let's go to the fourth board of Uzbekistan. Muhittin Madaminov versus Artyom Siniavsky, a FIDE master from Belarus, with 23-33. Let's see their actually performance in this Olympiad.
Artyom Siniavsky is 3 out of 4. He didn't
Very
play
good
in the
performance
one round. And Muhittin Madaminov is 2.5 out of 4.
So both of them, they have good performance in this Olympiad. Let's see their game now. Okay, so this is a middle game without queens. French defense. Bishop g5, bishop b4.
McCutcheon.
But this is
ED5.
ED5, very old line, one of the oldest lines, most probably. Usually, this exchange variations has been played in the old times. But now, this is actually a very strange position. What do you think?
I think black has some dynamic chances.
Yes.
B6.
Very strange move order. Now, of course, the ending.
Black misplays somewhere.
Yes, the ending, of course, usually in such kind of pawn formation favors white.
Oh.
F4 and then E4. Now, black has a permanent weakness on F5, and most probably this knight will jump to D4 or G3. I don't know how black will protect. Maybe king b8, bishop c8, but it will be difficult for
White
black.
played d6.
D6, this is also interesting. Immediately attacking f7 pawn, which looks actually like a nice move. Now, actually, in this board, I think white has a very good position.
I think so.
Now, Azerbaijan has a problem.
Uzbeks.
Sorry. Uzbekistan has a problem in the last board, a big problem, because these pawns will be very weak, and he will try to protect all these pawns. I don't know how he will do this. So, well, this is of course Erkin, typical young generation play. You learn some openings, but actually you don't know where to exchange queens, where to go to the endings. Instead of, exchanging the queens, maybe you should have kept the queens on the board, over the board, because now when you start to with this such kind of pawn formation, you will have a bad ending for a long time.
Obvious.
So you will have to defend. So he has to know such kind of things when you enter such kind of lines. Maybe rare lines he plays. Yes, but look, white actually was very cleverly played. He decided to exchange the queens.
Provocated black.
Very cleverly. And now after exchanging, queen takes is a very good move instead of knight takes.
It forces,
Forces, yes,
queen
because
C7
attacking the c7 pawn and the queen. Probably he didn't think about this queen takes move. Okay, let's go to China, Bulgaria match. China actually, they are also climbing the stairs. They also had some problems in the beginning. They lost to which country? Portugal or
China
they
lost the let's check.
There was a
they
very
won against
surprising-
Portugal.
They lost to which I don't remember, but a weaker team actually.
Czech Republic. No, they won against Czech Republic. I'm checking from chess 24 as well. China won against Turkey turquoise.
Okay, Lin Yi is playing versus Svetan Stoyanov.
From Bulgaria.
Yes.
China lost against Kazakhstan.
They only lost
1-3.
Only Kazakhstan. So this is not a big surprise. Kazakhstan is a very strong team, of course.
Leader also.
Yeah. Their only bad luck is they played only first rounds with Kazakhstan. Yes. So okay. So let's see this match: Lin Yi versus Svetan Stoyanov, FIDE master, a strong FIDE master from Bulgaria with 2377 elo, and c5, a Benoni defense, which is not very popular lately because of this of course development in the theory lately.
As we mentioned, like F4 line, etc.
Yes, many lines actually.
Okay, this is also the main line, castles.
Yes, castles.
Knight f6, bishop
F4.
98.
No, this is white is thinking. It's such a stage. I don't understand.
I think this is kind of normal because They just
What is he thinking?
probably is about rook e1 or bishop c4. You know,
But when
this is
you
the-
play such kind of variation, you should know this opening. You know,
to
this
some
is-
extent.
This should be, you know, still some theory. Bishop b7. Okay, Lin Yi is thinking. Stoyanov, I don't know for how long he is thinking.
He's thinking for let's check. Lin Yi is thinking for 8 minutes 21 seconds.
Yes. Okay, maybe knight c3, maybe bishop c4, in order to protect the d5 pawn.
I'm also checking the game from the theory base. Knight b5, knight e4. Castles was not the main move. Instead of
Where?
here.
Here.
Bishop e4 was the main line.
Castles is
And
not
you
so-
know the results for white is you know too bright. Like white is winning the 75% of the games.
in this line.
Yes, 25 for black.
Yes, so maybe he misplayed this opening.
The
He
line?
forgot
Mhm.
the line. Rook e8, knight g5. I remember
Yes,
such kind
queen
of
a5, knight
such kind of
c3,
moves.
bishop a6,
Yes.
and bishop d2. Now white is a piece up.
How do you continue?
Bishop a6, bishop d, queen a5. First queen a5.
Yeah, queen a5, knight c3.
Bishop a6, bishop d2.
Bishop
d2. Knight d7, and queen c2.
f5.
f5, knight e6.
This is the problem with this line. I remember because of this knight e6 move, this knight g5 is the key move of this line. I used to play with white pieces, this line. I now remember.
So knight e4 for black was not the best move.
Yes.
But white misplayed with castles.
Yeah, true.
He misplayed.
Okay. Castles and bishop f4. This is of course should be okay for black. Maybe he understands that this is okay for black. That's why he's thinking for such a long time. Okay, let's go to the second board of China is playing with a master Kai Feng Yu, a strong FIDE master 2367, is facing Momchil Petkov, a FIDE master, also strong FIDE master with 2333 elo from Bulgaria. Let's go to this game. Petkov Yu. My camera fix the board. What's this opening? I want to see this opening.
Sicilian Sveshnikov or so.
Okay, this is Najdorf.
Pologaevsky line.
Yes, e5.
h1, f3.
f4 actually was the move, but he decided to play f3, a4.
Now it is understandable. You know, the classical ideas.
Knight b1. He wants to play c3. x6. Yeah, maybe you should have played here after bishop b7 a4 h6. Usually when white plays f3, you have to understand that the intention is to play over the d5 square, and white wants to play a positional game. He wants to occupy the d5 square with a piece. He wants to push the pawns on the queen side, all these pawns, and the d5 square. So you have to prevent the pieces which will occupy this. And the bishop g5, this move, bishop g5 move is intending to exchange this bishop with this knight, which controls the d5 square. So white, black, as you can see, controls the d5 square with two pieces. So, but after knight c6, now you have no, knight d7. So you cannot control, take on f6 with the knight, and the knight now is not on the right place.
But maybe after knight b4, the knight still controls the d5 square, and
with c7.
And c7, and black also plays d5. There's probably nothing to stop. No, knight c4. He played knight c4. White played knight c4. And black needs to play bishop e7 maybe, because he cannot play d5, I guess.
Ismail, can we go to the second board of China? Okay, let's see the position. No, black played something, but what he played, I don't see. But he did. For sure, he didn't play bishop e7.
He played knight what? No, knight
he
e6.
Didn't play knight
after
e6.
Knight c4.
He played something else.
Let's check.
Knight c4 is not over the board. I don't know why.
Knight b8 or
no? Knight c4 has not been played yet. Where did you see knight c4?
I thought that one player was moving with his knight, and I thought that he maybe.
He didn't play yet.
He didn't play it.
He is thinking.
But knight c4 is the obvious move. You improve your knight's position. Also, the knight b5 comes into consideration, but there's b5 and d5 against. Maybe knight c4 is the move that prevents d5. Because you cannot push d5.
This is also possible. c4, for example. Now you have fixed this.
But you have also weak
knight
squares,
b5 was going. Yes, but I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I wouldn't play this c4. Bishop c4 also is possible in order to prevent. Now I want to go to d5.
Knight c7.
But knight c7, maybe
knight
now knight
b5.
b5. Maybe now knight b5. But actually I don't like this move. I don't know why.
Actually, I think it's a nice move because you also guarantee the c6 square. After knight b5, a b5.
Takes a b5.
Yes, c6 is also weak. And you can play c4 right now. Because there are no pieces to land on c5 on d4.
We can play what?
Bishop d5, c4. White can now play bishop d5 and c4. And I think the position is really good for white.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. But I think black mishandled this position.
He forgot to play h6 and knight b to d7 as well.
I think didn't play in the right manner. In the right way. This is not the right way to play, to handle this position. Okay, let's go to the third board of this match. Qi Ji 2241 from China is versus woman player Gergana Peicheva, a FIDE master 2246. Let's see their performance.
Qi Ji is +7 in low, is 4 out of 5.
Oh, very good.
And Gergana Peicheva is 3 out of 4 as well, with the plus of 17 in low.
Okay. +70 is perfect.
+17.
Very good. What's going on here?
Wow. White pawns are
Some kind
coming
of
forward.
Okay, bishop d2, very strange move. Very old, type of move. Knight f3, v6, g3. This bishop d2, actually, I think I saw some players have been playing this bishop d2 lately.
Like Samish from the old ages.
Who was this? The Russian player in the Super League, Turkish Super League, he played it, I think.
Alexeyenko?
No, not Alexeyenko.
Young girl, Tomaszewski?
No, I forgot his name.
Sarana?
No. d3.
Peicheva is heading for a position in which the queen and knight tandem is just proving the superiority over queen and bishop, because bishop is not that active right now.
Yes, but rook on h5. What is it? What is the purpose of rook h5? I don't understand. This rook h5.
I think
how to attack?
Black needed to play h5 instead to prevent
Yeah,
g4.
this I don't like this rook h5
You know,
move. I don't see a future for the rook on h5. And if you keep the rook there, you know, you will in the later on the
regret your decision.
further stages of the game, this rook might be out of the game, you know, for a long time.
That's why I thought that h5 was the proper move to stop g4.
Yes, you're right.
Block the position.
Yes, you're right. Okay, anyway, let's see b4, and now Peicheva played something.
Knight f6.
Knight
She
f6.
played knight f6.
She played knight f6. She wants to continue. How?
The
I don't
attack.
know. I don't know
Queen
how.
h6, you know. He played what? Rook a1? No.
Rook a1.
He played
I think on a5 is something exchanged.
yes,
First
knight
a-
f6. Before knight f6, probably they took
8
ab,
takes
ab.
b4, 8 takes b4, knight f6. Now rook a1 has been played.
I think a takes b4 was wrong.
He doesn't see anything actually on the queen side, king side. Knight g4, h3 is possible. If rook takes h3, g takes h3 with some, I mean,
I don't know,
discovered
friends.
check. There is nothing actually with such discovered check. So, so this is possible to play h3, and then king h2, and there is no attack.
You know, a takes b4 was unnecessary, I guess, because you know, opening the lines just works fine for white
Yes.
because he has the position. Probably,
Yes, but he was attacking the pawn.
I'm protecting with the rook.
Yeah, but it will be weak. I will play maybe queen d2 later on. Maybe rook b1. It will be the same. You will this time will have to deal with this a pawn, c pawn. The rook will enter from the b line to the black's position. So not so easy to play this actually. Black, concentrated all her forces on the king side, and she doesn't care about the queen side. If the attack will not succeed, then of course you will lose, because for sure white will get something on the queen side.
Maybe black's idea is like ab4, okay, and on ab4 instead of knight f6.
Yes.
Instead of
So-
knight f6, ab4, knight f6, b5.
Here.
Hmm?
Yes, it looks like a good move, but you have to always deal with this move maybe. Or maybe this is nothing, yeah? B takes c4 and knight d5. So b5.
You know, if you take, I will play knight d5 and I also
takes
defend the
d5,
c7 pawn.
d2.
I will wait. Despite you have a pawn up, is there a clear way to prove it all?
I don't know.
Maybe rook
But I
b8,
have
queen
pawn up,
e8.
so
yes.
maybe I will try to attack on the
Pawn
maybe
is a pawn.
sacrifice exchange. I don't know, because
Rook is
these
just-
pawns will be very strong.
Rook is just misplayed on h5.
This is the problem, you know. This is you don't have, some kind of compensation for the pawn here. You need to have compensation. So you give up this pawn in order to defend your queen side. This is something else, you know. You have to have some compensation.
But it's not visible either.
Yeah. Okay.
So there is the
Looks
last
like
game.
white has a good position on this third board of China. So let's move to the fourth board. Zhao Zhang from China, 2053, versus Dimo Terziev, a candidate master from Bulgaria, 2098 ELO. 2053. Okay. Here I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, G6 is the last move. What kind of opening is this? They played many moves. Karakan defense. This is later very popular, but usually knight e2.
Yes, because after knight f3 there's bishop e4.
Yes,
So
knight
this is the main line, f3.
bishop f4, e5.
Castles. Black has some initiative for his isolated pawn because f3 is kind of weak. Okay, knight c2, f4. Interesting decision. Knight f4 is not possible. Maybe
g3 probably.
Yes.
Okay.
f5. I don't think white needed f5, but he just got a pawn. Lost the pawn.
So black lost the pawn.
For no reason.
Knight c7,
Knight c7, knight e6, knight g6.
But maybe
Sindarov won.
Sindarov won?
In the game, Saruk played queen. Oh, what a mate. Can we return on the board too?
So Maxim Saruk, actually, yes.
What a mate.
Let me go.
Queen takes f3.
This game, Sindarov.
Won in style.
Let's see this game. Sindarov plays versus Maxim Saruk. And Maxim Saruk actually made a very strange looking move after knight e5. After long thinking, he decided to play king g3 in this position, and we were saying this move such a brave move and also insane move, I would say. So because this move is just you are putting your king on fire, you know, this is not, I mean, something logical. You cannot go like this with the king while all the black pieces are attacking your yourself. He just played with fire, so he's been mated. Let's see how it happens.
For 27 minutes on g5.
So of course this is look at this sacrifice.
Brilliant.
He sacrificed his queen, Sindarov. And such a nice refutation. Look at this refutation. And he resigned here.
Because after
and look at this position. Takes, king g2, bishop h3. Such a forcing line. Mate. Of course, maybe king h1 is possible. And here maybe still play
rook, the other here, rook. No, here. Take and play what?
Maybe here what?
Can we count the material up?
Maybe too many.
We are exchanging.
Too much pawns. You know, it's the same material, but two pawns more. 2 pawns
with
up.
the continuing attack.
Yes. So probably he decided not to play this anymore. Incredible
game.
Yes. This is actually a grandmaster's difference, you know. A grandmaster can find such kind of sacrifices. You have to do to be very careful when you are playing with a grandmaster. Look, g5, the beginning of this attack. g5. Why g5, you might ask? Now queen d4 of course is a bad move.
Yes.
Maybe
he needs to take on g5 with his bishop. This is quite possible.
Ah yes, why not taking on?
But queen g7.
No, queen g7, yes.
Queen g7.
Queen g7 is possible.
Really a nice move.
Yes, losing a. So, but if you don't take, let's say for example, I play another threat is g4, of course, and then queen f2 is coming with mate.
Can you play h3?
The problem is g4. In the h3, h5.
Or
you don't stop anything. Or maybe g4 still, or h5 also. This is possible. I don't know what's the difference. You don't change anything. I can also still sacrifice the queen. So this king g3 actually very insane move, but he found a very good actually reputation of this move, which was not played before. Very nice game. Maybe we can have Sindarov later on in our studio to ask him about this game and also about the position of their team. Okay, so maybe we have the last board we checked. Yes, we already checked.
Maybe we can go for a short break.
Yes. Okay. After the short break, we have many more strong matches waiting for us. Ukraine versus Israel, Turkey white versus Greece, and Russia versus United States of America.
Dear chess friends, we have a guest from the coach of the Azerbaijan, namely Grandmaster Feris Abbasov. Welcome again.
Hello, dear followers.
So we are just checking the games of the team match Ukraine versus Israel on board 3, and the first board is Platon Galperin versus Or Globus, and this is the position.
Yeah, seems white has an advantage, space advantage on the queen side, and in my opinion, knight on d5 can make a fork, maybe on c7 or on f6. So maybe knight takes d5, and it's necessary, I think. And after bishop takes d5, rook b8 maybe, and this position I think looks like winning maybe for white. For example, rook e b1.
EB1.
Yes, and trying to create a passive pawn, or I mean a pawn, or a takes b5 and e6, a6, and now I think black should lost a piece, so looks like losing position. I think it's a very dangerous position for black.
So it is.
What to do?
Let's check from it the opening phase. Actually, is this a Spanish?
Spanish was transferred to Qing Indian, I think, pawn structure. So
this is coming from Arkhangelsk. Is this the theoretical move?
Yeah, theoretical. Yeah.
If knight takes a5, what happens?
D takes e5.
d5.
Or at first rook takes a5.
Wow.
And bishop takes, and then take here, like this.
So black cannot take over a5. He needs to play a7, h3.
I remember about 2 games. As I remember, Carlsen played very nice game by white this position against Caruana, as I remember.
Carlsen Caruana.
Yeah, and next day this position was again in Caruana's game. I mean, he played against Hammer, as I remember, or Smith. I don't remember all of them. And the most important thing in these pawn structures, white has to exchange the bishop on a7, because because this bishop is very dangerous, and as usual, or make some restrict this bishop like this, b2, c3, and d4, and then try to create some trace on f7. But the second thing what we have to remember in this kind of positions, of course, this pawn structure, d4 takes e5, d takes e5, and then play for d5 or c5 squares. As I understand, the similar was in the game, and white, of course, now has to improve develop and improve their own pieces, and at the same time restrict the pieces of the opponent.
So for our spectators, knight e4 is not possible because there's bishop d5. This is the typical trick of defending e4 tactically, and queen, rook e8, d5. As you mentioned, he's just exchanging the bishops.
Yeah.
c4.
It's a similar Qing Indian defense, but pawns on a6 and b5. This is, I think, unnatural on this pawn structure, because we have to some breakthrough on this flank. So after c4, for example, c4, what to do in this fight? Because white, I think white has the best chances in this position, because black cannot do nothing on Qing side for this position. And after c5, rook c1 and double rooks on this line, I think white has an initiative, so it's very dangerous for black to play the
bc4, but still c7 is weak. c3, b4.
F5 is normal move, of course. F5 necessary move in this position. It's the same. Knight on E7 is a problem. This reverse piece for this kind of positions. And what to do with this knight? The best place for it, of course, after F5, this is F6. Knight G8, and then transfer to knight F6. And this maneuvers, this is typical for Qing Indian. So maybe F5 and then.
Is this really possible? Because you just come forward to the bishop.
King H8 and knight G8 and
take D6. Stuff
in this position, I think the same was in the game. This is tactical.
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe I thought that your idea fits better with King H8 first, and then play F5, and then play knight G8.
And knight F6. And if the black, of course, hold the queens on the board, there has not bad chances in this position.
So if he can defend here, there's no problem then.
No problem, yeah.
Okay, F5 takes D6.
B5. Queen G5, no? Queen G3. This is a very good move, in my opinion.
Queen G3.
Yeah, because white has a space advantage on the queen flank. So they exchange these queens as usual. Gives the best chance for white than for black.
So the final position reached from that moves, and you evaluated as just better for white.
Yes, a big advantage in my opinion.
Advantage.
Yeah.
So we are coming forward to the second board, namely Cohen Revivo versus Bertnik. This is the position.
Unclear position. Definitely, this is unclear position because the closed type of the position in the center maybe gives some chances for black, and yes, and black can of course pressure to E3 and maybe do something, but of course white has more pawns in the center, and it is very important by bishop sides. The white has mobility pawn structure, so maybe in this position after I don't know, maybe queen F2 or Qing F2 or Qing F3, then push some pressure on G5 and invite for G5 G4 G5 G4, and then of course prepare for E3 E4 in future, of course.
Maybe King
G3 and maybe do something. Of course, black has a very nice counter game to attack on E3. For example, rook B, E8, and then what to do for white? Qing F2, and I think Qing F2 is necessary. So, but this is a slow step.
It's a slow game.
Yeah, very slow game. Rook E2, rook G1, H3 maybe.
Can you play rook E2 versus knight F4, bishop E8, knight E2, stuff like that? We cannot maybe move your rooks because you take first and you play.
Yeah, it's possible too. Yeah.
Maybe I was thinking about taking us first instead of King G3, take and do something after that.
But after that, I think this is maybe better for black, a little. Slightly better, because after b5 and then c5 c4 breakthrough ideas, and at the same time rook b e8 and then pressure on e3 gives for black maybe slightly better chances than for white. Of course, white should in this position play rook Qing f3, rook e2 maybe, rook d e1, and then of course promote this pawn
for e4.
Yeah, of course.
So we will check the opening stage quickly. This is the very similar opening that we talk. You remember the d4? We were talking about stuff like c4. It is similar. g3. Let's c5.
I remember the game Quinteros Kasparov.
Queen Tarascos.
Yes, which played many years ago. So, and then in his notation, Kasparov said that the main idea for black after d7, d6, this is play c5 and e5, and preventing some, for example, d4, d2, d4. So I think, yes, this is playable, of course, but without castle, I mean for white. For example, in this similar position, after c4, c5, c5, d3, for example.
d3.
Yeah, d3, yes. E5, and now after knight c3, these maneuvers, knight d2, knight f1, knight e3, and try to occupy the central squares, I mean e4 and d5, of course. And then, of course, some preparation for b4, breakthrough here, or breakthrough for on f5, I mean f2, f4. But of course, this is two plans, and of course we have to connect this plan with our bishops. For example, on which direction we will play. For example, if we play for g2 bishop, we have to play b4 and open this file.
So
if we
are playing on the hands of the bishop on the queen side for the other bishop.
F4.
F4. So there are dual ideas. It depends to which bishop you want to play to open for.
Yeah.
So maybe black may try an early d5.
Yeah. So that's why at first white should play knight d2, knight f1, knight s3, and then after only this they can play rook b1, b4, or b3 and bishop b2. But in this position, maybe knight d5 is now unnecessary. Maybe we can play knight f1 too, for example.
Because knight e7 is not possible. Knight f6 and bishop
b7, yeah, as an extra pawn. But we can play knight f1 and knight e3 too, for example.
For example, he plays rook b8 to protect the bishop.
Yeah.
You play knight f4.
Yeah, and then we can just play this.
Just in time. So not to castle is an important.
Yeah, because the center is closed. So
there's no need to hurry in castle.
Yeah, of course.
So let's check the course of the game. So there's no time to push. So it's playing for d4.
As I remember, the game Caruana against Kasparov was similar, and then Kasparov pushed his pawn to e4, and then occupied more space, and then but in this position it's not possible, of course. But he prepared it, and then knight e5, h5, h4, this plan, and attack on d file and on h file, and try to create some weaknesses on this side of the board, and then try to exploit some weaknesses with assistance of bishop on c8. Bishop on c8 in this typical position is very important, like in Qing Indian.
This is also common for the attack from the point where he stands off. You don't even need to move this bishop.
Yeah.
Okay, e3, bishop f5.
Very nice move, I think. Queen
I think on those positions, white needs to play, to exchange the bishops, actually. Let's say that. Because you just close the center.
Yeah.
You need to play like that. Instead of rook e1. Because after bishop h3, white still needs to, play for exchange. I think bishop h1 is not that good.
You can play, I think, e4 too. Yeah?
e4.
Yeah, e4 is better. Maybe knight e4 too, for example, in this position.
The idea is putting your pawns on the light squares if you want to exchange the bishop on light squares. This is the basic idea.
Yeah.
Okay. He played rook f2 e8, queen e2.
Now I understand what wants black in this position. They just want to play on queen side,
on b5.
b5, but I don't know, is it best move or not? Maybe best chances was on queen side, king side.
king
Not
side.
only, yeah. Of course, white and black has different ideas in this position. For example, black has more space, so maybe rook a8 and try to promote the pawn, this backward
Like
pawn.
h6, bishop e6.
Yeah. This
Before.
position. And for example, this unlikely idea for white. For example, bishop f5 and bishop g4, and try to pin this knight.
Bishop g4.
Yeah, and restrike some movement for white. So bishop g4, I think maybe was most dangerous for
Here, bishop
yeah,
g4.
bishop g4.
Queen f5, queen h5. Also, you have
Yes,
the
yes, of
queen.
course, of course.
Okay. Rook b8, knight d2, bishop g4 now, but
f3.
f3, knight d4, e6.
Takes.
Do we need to take?
Maybe not need, but maybe bishop g7 or yes. If rook b8 we transfer to f8, maybe bishop d8 was better, and then f5, g5, and try to create some trace on this flank. But bishop rook on b8. Rook on b8 spoiled something, of course. So maybe bishop g7 is best in this position.
I was thinking about just play simply with knight e7 if you want to exchange.
Yeah.
Exchange with the knight instead of bishop.
But which of these pieces is more useful for black? I don't know. I'm not so sure because all white pawns, most pawns or many pawns, a2, b3, c4, d3, f3, all of them, and in future, of course, e pawn will stay on white square. So maybe bishop on e6 not so good in this position.
So those pawns are restricting bishop's activity.
Yeah. So after bishop takes d5, for example, c takes b5, knight e7, but now it's a problem on knight on e7. Maybe it was a chance for white. For white it was a chance because after knight e7 and f4, pin and win. This is our simple
pin and win.
Pin and win. Yeah. So after f4, rook f1. Now white has a very nice game on this flank.
Queen
f4. Interesting move. Maybe this move was a mistake. Maybe the queen takes f4. Save this position, yes, of course, and less pawns in the center. This is better for bishop, I think. And after this position, maybe push e pawn, e5, even if it's possible. And after e4, for example, in this position, this is typical Chink Indian knight on e7, restricted, I mean, knight on e7. So after e4, I think white has a very good chance.
There's open f file, f6 square, also the ideas of h4, king h2, bishop h3.
Clear game, no? Clear game.
Clear game.
Yes, white knows what to do, but it is very difficult to understand what to do for black. How can they, for example, I don't see, I can't see how can black solve this problem. I mean, this restriction.
But
this is of course rook f1 maybe.
Queen e7.
Rook f3, knight f6, and rook.
Maybe first this because after knight f6 rook just doubles.
Yeah.
Maybe this.
Rook here,
c7.
and we can see again knight on g8 is a problem.
And e4.
So, e4, bishop h3, or h4, bishop h3. As you told before, no, this is better for white, of course, definitely.
Maybe queen f takes f4 was the move.
Yeah.
Gf4, queen g4.
I think this mistake too.
Queen f3.
Yeah, of course. White has more advantage in the center and very nice game in the Chink side. So maybe just e4, for example, and then Chink h1. Bishop h3, and then some preparation for doubling on G file, and of course decisively breakthrough on this flank. For example, F5, F6, and something like this, or E5 maybe.
So if you have the pawn, central pawn majority, you need to keep the pieces.
Mobility pawn structure is very important for bishop. Even white has no more pawns in the center. In my opinion, it will be better has more mobility pawn. So this is better for bishop.
So queen f3 was also a mistake. Take knight f5 and g5. I think this is a nice move to open the h file. H2 pawn is kind of like if you want to exchange.
King g3, f5. Was it necessary? I don't know.
To play knight g6.
Maybe just king f6. Not for, of course, unnecessary centralization. Just open g file. For example, after this, rook e7, rook b8, g8, and try to play in a local area because black has a knight in this position. So, and then of course try to restrict some white's options, and then of course try to create some threats.
So knight was located good. There's no any reason to get it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And has a very nice support point on h4.
And this is the position problem. Can we see moves? Yes. They played a couple. You know, he took, but you said that it will lead a small advantage for black.
Yeah. Sure. This is better for black.
So we are coming for the third board. Which was it? Yes, Malovany versus Lukin. This is the position.
Interesting position, of course. Interesting and unclear position, of course. Both sides has nice chances for fighting for the initiative, but maybe it's a better play for black, in my opinion.
Black.
Yeah, because they has pawn majority on king side, so the pawn structure more healthy. So white has two pawn lands, but black just two. So, and of course excellent support point on f5, and after in future of course rook f8, rook h6, and knight f5 with activation something, and I think they can trade more dangerous threats than white can do same. So it's better for black, I think.
Slightly better endgame for black. So it is coming from really an equal thing. ed5.
No.
You know,
It's a very popular line. Very popular line, famous line. I mean.
But I cannot understand the logic behind it. You know, thinking simply, you have a restricted bishop, and why do you open the line of the bishop?
Of course, this is another way out of the theoretical. Of course, I think it takes d5, but very dangerous line.
Very dangerous.
Yeah, because we can see the same pawn structures in, for example, in Petrov's game or in others too. So in Queen's Gambit even we can transfer to this position. So as usual, white play in these typical positions, bishop d6, and try to exploit some weaknesses on black's position. I mean on h7 or Crete, and then just try to attack these squares. For example, as I remember, in this typical position, Larsen won a very nice game, but with another idea: Queen f3, Knight e2, Knight b c3, Bishop f4 or Bishop g5, long castle, and push g and h pawns. Very interesting lines. So of course it's not best in our time, of course, but in this position, knight on c6, I think stay worst, because it is restricted by white pawns, So knight on d2 and pawn on c3, I think better than knight on c6 and pawn on c7. So in this position, I think white has better chances. For example, after knight e2, bishop f4, exchanging this dangerous bishop, but black decided to exchange queens, but I don't think that this solves all problems, because white has clear game after f3, g4, and the strategy is restrike, just restrike.
Bishop f5.
It's a good move, of course. Yeah, this strategy is continued. G5, yeah.
Still going level. They are still playing the good moves.
But this position looks very boring, but it's not so, because white in this position has some pressure on king side, and of course rook on e1 has more activations than black's rooks. So after, for example, knight takes g6 and rook e6, or rook e6 maybe was better, with idea rook b1.
So how you hold the pawn problem? Knight f5,
knight f5, yeah.
King h3 or so.
King h3 or king f2 maybe.
King f2, let's say. Rook d6.
Rook d6, rook he1.
Okay, so
of course black should play in this position with very high level accuracy. I mean, so after king d7 is maybe equal position, because white should solve the problem on knight on d2.
So
Has
this
no
is
support points.
probably equal, and white preferred rook d5, but and this is position.
In this position, no, I think I prefer to play this position by black.
By black.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are moving towards the last board of the match, and actually they drawn out Musyk versus Mosesov.
Oh.
In this position they agreed on a draw.
It's very interesting position too, of course, because both sides has a very nice chances for place for the win. But in my opinion, maybe white is slightly better, thanks big passed pawn. So in my opinion, white should play for the win in this position. Of course, black pawn structure more healthy, and they has only one island, yes, and white has, of course, white should play very carefully. For example, after knight c6, knight d5, and push, for example, e pawn, and try to put pawns to the same color white's bishop
Of the white's bishop.
Yeah, according to Capablanca. So just play like this. But maybe both of sides thought that it's very risky to play this position for both sides. So agreed.
Okay, so we have another game. Actually, this is a pretty interesting one. It is Russia versus United States of America. In the first board, Volodar Murzin is playing against Joshua Stearman.
Both chess players, of course, play very nice style. Of course, Murzin plays, this is Russian protege, so of course he plays very interesting strategy plus tactics. But Stearman, the first board of the United States team, played good too. But in my opinion, in this position, white has better chances, because knight on d5 has an excellent support point, and white, of course, but white should do something with this advantage, because I don't know how can white use this or exploit this knight on d5. Now, knight on c5 for black stays very nice, and d6 square can protect by bishop on h6 very carefully, but the problem is the same. This is unmobility pawn structure, and we know that unmobility pawn structure, especially for the bishop, is very dangerous for it. And so I think in future white should transfer queen e2 to c2, and then try to break through on queen side. It will be better for them, because after doubling on a file, I think it will be very difficult to hold the position for black.
I was also thinking for white to play, you know, rook b2, h3, and queen c2.
Yeah,
and rook
it's
h2.
possible. Yeah, yeah, it's possible too. But maybe in this position queen e1, then queen b1, controlling both squares, important squares. I mean on e4 and b3, and then a3. Maybe it's possible too.
Queen needed to be on b1.
Yeah, maybe. Queen on b1, and queen in b1 can in time be on f1. For example, if black will try to if black try to break through on king side after g5, necessary, I think, in future. Then king can go to e2 and has a safe position. And but some dynamic on the game. So I think white and black, both of sides, I mean, have very interesting chances. Black should play g5, white should play a3.
So, as I understand, you know, you were talking about pawn structures for all the time, and we have really common pawn structures. We have seen so many Benonies, so many Kings Indians in the event so far, also so many Carlsbads. But since the modern chess era started, and you know, Kings Indian and the other pawn structures are popularized, we are seeing the Morphy and Chetto pawn structures nowadays.
Right.
So, for the opening, we can have a quick look. Oh, this is the Sveshnikov.
Yeah.
Also Carlsen popularized nowadays.
Carlsen, Kramnik, Polgar, many chess players.
Also the Rajabov.
Rajabov, yeah, played very nice games in this line. C4. I remember the same position from the two very top chess players. Morozevich against played Temur Rajabov, and Morozevich won that game
with c4.
With c4, yeah, and then knight c2. But in nowadays we can see that after transferring bishop from f6 to c5, black has very good chances. So this is similar with French defense: bishop d7, bishop e8, bishop g6. It's the same. So this idea in our days is very important idea for resource. I mean for black. So what was in the game before? Yeah.
Very classical bishop g5, but probably he's creating some space for queen and bishop d8.
Yeah, of course. Bishop a6. Maybe all this theory, maybe.
Queen b8 also.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Then f5 or g6 f5.
I think it is still, you know, somewhat early, because he might play rook d7 and, you know, for this idea.
It's same, yeah. Yeah, it's
he might
possible.
play for this idea.
Yeah.
Maybe f5 is a little too early, because
But
f4 is not that.
It's not so good, of course.
You know, I was also referring from f5, since there are also some ideas of white to take and play bishop e4, you know, for the light square. So since maybe it would be useful to wait for a little while, like g6 and f5.
G6, yeah, f5. Or f5 then g6.
f5 then g6.
G6, yeah, and doubling rooks on this file and hold some tension in the center, yeah, and then maybe bishop h4 and invite to create weakness on f2. Yeah, on f2, of course. will be better. But f5 and f4, you know, in my opinion, former Soviet Union area, I mean, in my opinion, all this area understand chess better than West, in my opinion, because a very powerful chess school was built in that time. But West chess school, I think, more creatives.
They're more dynamic.
Yes, dynamic, tactical, like this, like Larsen, I mean, like Fischer. But of course, in this position, for example, f5, f4, in my opinion, this is a very bad move. This is very difficult to understand why f4, f4. Yes, this idea can live, but after rook a f7, bishop d8, and then push g pawn. But I don't know, was black prepared enough for this or not? In my opinion, no, because after for example, knight jump something somewhere, I think d6 is weak. Some pawn sacrifices on the board. I mean, c4, c5, and try to open this this side of the board.
I'm also thinking about the little operation, you know, mainly queen e2 and bishop g4.
Yeah, and that's
also a typical idea in Sveshnikov.
In Sveshnikov, in Ching Indian too. This is in all similar pawn structures.
I remember a famous Pologaevsky game, you know, in the King's Indian. He suddenly played bishop g4, and there's a Karpov versus Dolmatov.
Yeah. Many games. Yeah.
Queen e2, rook d3. He's preventing f3 after bishop g4.
Yeah.
Nice prophylactic play by him, and bishop g4. Nicely played.
Yeah. Use some tactical.
You know, you said that there's a Soviet chess school for a better understanding compared with the West.
Yeah.
And there is a video series of Alex Yarmolinsky, namely Every Russian Schoolboy Do.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yes.
You know, for example, f4 was probably a type of move that every Russian schoolboy never do.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So we are coming for the final position. And rook d2, this is the position, and you evaluate is better for white.
Yeah, a little better maybe.
So there's the which board is that? This is the first board, and this is the second board, K versus Avalia.
It's from Nimzo Indian, as I understand. Both sides, of course, has some ideas, but in my opinion, black stays better, in my opinion. Yes, because the pawn structure fixed, and after, for example, b6 and knight, and transfer knight to d6, and make some block at d pawn. So, of course, ideal, in my opinion, is it will be very ideal for black go to the end game. Yes, because in the end game, of course, black should win even in this position. You know, even after, for example, knight c4 and knight d6, and after exchanging queens, even better for black exchange rook d8, for example, to bishop on c2. Even this position.
Sacrificing.
So just sacrifice, yeah, and maybe this position better for black, because the pawn structure very typical, where black can go, of course, can go to irrational exchanging, and then, of course, exploit some weaknesses in the queen side.
So we are checking the opening stage. Yes, it is an Nimzo Indian, the main line.
Very famous game by Kasparov against Kramnik was in this position. Yeah, bishop d7 is very interesting move. Yeah,
Actually, people used to play the position is in a various styles, like bishop c3 is one of the moves, knight c6, also the b6, also the queen c7. There are many moves in this position. c4 is one of them. Bishop e7.
Queen f3, yes, and
you know why not to take the bishop there? I know I specifically like the bishop there.
yes, maybe it will be better because queen h3. I think white had it up because queen h3 white has no advantage in the center, so it is. I think, in my opinion, it's difficult now to understand why queen h3. This is elementary, as we talked before. This is American or United States. I mean. West chess school.
Creative stuff.
Yeah.
Bishop d3, bishop h7 idea. This is the creative one.
Yes, of course. But after this knight bd7, maybe, or rook d8. It's normal move because pressure to the center.
Bishop e8.
Bishop e8, and then knight c6.
Prevented tactics.
Yeah, then this is the typical position after c takes d4, e takes d4. This is isolated pawn structure.
But he is probably afraid of some sacrifice on h6.
Yeah. After c takes d4, e takes d4, it will be very dangerous to play this game by white, by black. I mean, and I think it was better for black because after exchanging something, then breakthrough in the center
with e5.
E5, yeah. And
you just played e5.
Let's play this. Yeah. Knight f6, d5. E4, but maybe here bishop takes e4 was better because
at that point,
bishop takes e4 in my opinion was better because after this bishop d2,
queen c4 probably the only move. There's queen f5,
g6 maybe,
G6,
and queen e5, then bishop c3.
What to do with that knight?
Knight b3 maybe, and then bishop c3. White
mate actually.
Yeah.
wait. If I cannot take over that, why not bishop e4?
I don't understand why not, because after this
it seems that black is kind of lost.
Yeah.
Without g6, can we do something else? Because we can escape, but we leave the g pawn.
But it's very dangerous, I think. Two bishops, we have very nice pawn on d5.
Probably black's e4 was a mistake.
Yeah.
He needs to play, maybe knight c4 as you mentioned, knight d6 with this idea.
Yeah. It will be better, much better, I think. Or maybe try to exchange very dangerous bishop on c2 by bishop b7, d7, and then bishop f5. Maybe. But knight c4 and knight d6 looks better. Yeah.
So we are coming for the third board, Kirill Shubin versus Justin Chan. Wow, they just played that end game that quickly.
Yeah.
Is this over?
Yes, over. Games was over, as I understand, because as I understand, Shubin is
actually it is, yes, it is done.
Yeah.
Shubin won against Justin Chan, so we just check it quickly. Or what was that?
Maybe some theoretical battle, yeah.
Or they still play something? No, the moves are coming lately.
Yeah.
And he played g5, and after that probably there's I.
Yes, each takes g5.
So
and
Russia is leading by 1-0, and the last game is whose game is that? Samadashvili versus Garifuina. This is the last game.
Black must win this position, in my opinion.
Can you blockade?
It doesn't matter, I think, because after even play against Capablanca's rules, for example, e5, f6, and transfer king to c4, black should win, of course.
King is going to c4
Yeah.
simply.
Yeah.
Black is winning.
And the most, I think, most strong side of, or powerful side of this passed pawn, in my opinion, is not only promote to the queen. All white pieces now should protect it or defend some ideas.
It is taking the attraction of white
Yeah,
pieces.
attraction. And then, of course, black, of course, can attack on king side and take some material maybe, and then create another 2 or 3 even passed pawns on this flank.
So
It's
far,
easy win.
so far we just had evaluated the games with the help of Grandmaster FIDE Abbasov. Thank you for your comment.
Thank you to
here.
thank you for
And
your
we are
question.
going for a short break.
Dear chess friends, we are back again. We had a guest, dear Mr. Grandmaster FIDE Abbasov, the captain of Azerbaijan team. Actually, he left his team to comment on the games together with us on our studio. Now he went to his they are playing an important match against Kazakhstan. Also, they had some problems on the last board and on the second board, he told us. So we didn't check the games of Turkey. Actually, the Turkey white is playing against Greece on the board number 5. So let's go immediately to this match, Turkey white versus Greece. On the first board of Turkey white, Emirhan Tarlabaşı is playing versus Dimitris Alexakis.
FIDE master from Greece.
FIDE master, strong FIDE master with 24-59 elo against Emirhan Tarlabaşı. Of course, also he is a FIDE master, 23-65 elo. Okay, this is a Benoni, another Benoni They play knight d2, an
D2,
early
aiming
knight
for
d2.
d6.
Yes, an early knight d2, bishop e2, e4. This okay. This structure a5. Usually, after you play a5, you give up the square of b5 for black. This is another idea for black to play, because usually black wants to play in this line after knight a6, knight c7, bishop d7 and knight b5, in order to make pressure on d4 square and on the knight on c3. This is the case actually what happened now.
Typical move.
Yes, knight d7, knight c4. At one point actually looks like white can push e5 now here.
Especially
Is
queen
it
is on
possible?
e7 or
E5.
c7.
Queen e7, e5 is not possible.
D,
E5
d6.
takes d6.
Queen d8
Looks
again.
like
f5, yes, why not? e5, d5, d6. After queen, no, queen e6 is queen e6 possible?
e5.
Because I'm also checking it simultaneously.
E5,
d6.
d6.
Queen e6. Is this possible?
Queen e6.
Seemingly
I'm not
like
sure.
a bad move, but it may be possible. You know, with the oh, there is some bishop d5, queen f5, and g4. Queen is lost. g4.
g4.
Mm-hmm. You just trapped the queen.
So probably this is not possible.
Queen d8 is necessary, maybe.
Queen d8.
Or queen f8.
Queen or queen f8.
Queen f8, let's say, and maybe f5. You know, the main idea is pushing e5 is to play f5. But
Yeah, but this is not so obvious. Maybe you can take. So this
or
is
play
maybe
knight d4 as well.
Some counter chances for black. Okay, he decided not to play
Queen
d3. No, but now the knight d4 comes. Bishop d2. Black has now good chances to counter attack.
Knight a5 and bishop
Knight
d7.
a5, bishop c7. Now Emirhan, I think, is thinking what to do, because this knight on d4 is really a huge knight, you know, controlling every square on b3, b5, all the squares, attacking the bishop on f3. If the queen moves, knight c2 is a fork. So the problem with white is how to activate his pieces, and in the center, usually on the Benoni type of setups, when white plays f4, e4 moves, white wants to play e5 most naturally. But here, after the knight goes to d4, this is not possible, and e5 also is controlled very well by black.
So
there is a problem for black,
so
for white.
The only idea is to play for rook b1 and b4 maybe.
Well, this is also looks, I don't know, dangerous.
You know,
I'm not sure about this neither.
I want to take with rook b4 and kick the knight on d4. There's no other solution, I guess.
Well, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe there is rook b1. So this is
What he played?
looks
Rook a2.
rook a2.
But I don't understand it either.
I don't know.
Maybe rook b1 was just a better try. At least it has some.
But here
some
actually it's difficult to find a good move for white.
Indeed.
There is no such, I mean, something you can suggest here. So difficult the position. I don't like that this bishop is always on prise here on f3, because you cannot move your queen anywhere. After taking on f3, h3 is hanging, the queen, the king side will be destroyed. So this is a big problem for white.
So
I think black has the upper hand here.
But how to improve for black? It's also find it hard either.
How to improve? Yes, it's also a question. You're right. I don't know. For the moment, black needs to find a good plan, a concrete plan actually here. Now you have to calculate well. I don't know. Maybe at some point, maybe bishop b5
Not
is
now.
possible. Maybe even now.
Because he takes 6 and play knight c6.
Yeah,
No.
but knight c6.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't. I don't know. Is it working or not?
AB.
AB,
Probably
knight
it doesn't
c6.
work. DC. Yes.
Takes. What's going
Knight
on?
c4 or pawn c4. Probably knight c4, but bishop c3. It may, it is kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah, maybe it's still possible. Maybe queen c7, but you take on b5. Yes.
I believe that.
First, maybe c4.
Oh, he played what? Queen h4. He played queen h4.
Okay, did he found a good plan? Maybe queen h4. Does he want here? He wants to
bishop
take
h6
on h3 with the queen g3 check. So he is now planning to attack, and also maybe f5 will come.
Also bishop h6.
Yes, now maybe he found the right plan. Now f5, bishop h6, queen g3. Many moves now looks like possible because of the king side, because of this knight on d4. Everything is actually related to the knight on d4.
The piece in the camp.
The most strong piece in this on the table here on the board is this knight on d4.
Probably rook f1.
Because of this reason of this knight on d4, White's game is destroyed. In the opening phase, he shouldn't allow black to come on d4. Maybe even take here, take on b5. Because after knight d4, the situation is getting worse,
So
I don't know how to proceed. Maybe afterwards, maybe it's still not good for
queen
White.
b3 maybe.
I don't know. This will be some other game. But still, he shouldn't play here. Idea. Maybe here knight c4. Why he doesn't want to play knight c4? I don't understand. Because after b5, takes, knight a5 is still possible.
Bishop d7.
Bishop d7 and bishop f3 is still possible because knight e5 and knight c6 is still possible. Of course, b4 maybe I don't like b4. Knight e2, some bishop or knight b5 still possible, or maybe rook e8 first. Of course, very double-edged this line.
Exactly.
Yeah, Black played very well the opening phase, so Black has the initiative, and now he's attacking in the king side of Emir Khan. Therefore, on the first board of Turkey White, Emir Khan is in trouble. Let's go to the second board of Turkey. Ahmet Utku Üzümcü, FIDE Master of Turkey 2304 versus the FIDE Master of Greece, Nikolaos Spiropoulos 2409. Very strong FIDE Master. Is playing on the second board of Greece. So let's see this another.
He plays something.
Benoni or something?
Yes.
No, not Benoni.
Sicilian.
This looks like setup, but not the same.
h5.
H5. Okay, this is as I we were speaking. H5, typical
Even
ideas.
after h3
Yeah,
there's h5. Okay.
because even in this line, in some points, without h5, h3, g4 is possible.
Against
But
h3
of course,
there's
after h5 has been played, it's not possible at all. So queen d2, knight d7, knight b d7, castles, and rook c8, knight d5, queen a5. Well, I don't know. I don't like too much this queen sortie immediately on a5.
b3.
f4, takes, knight d4, bishop d7, b3. Now it looks like the king side has been weakened, but because of the knight on e5, Black is not afraid on some attack on f7 or g6 because the knight is very strong on e5, controlling all the squares in front of the king.
All the weaknesses.
Yes, all these weaknesses. This knight is the actually most strong piece of Black in this position. Now rook c3. Also, he wants to attack on the queen side. Takes. He wanted to sacrifice.
The exchange.
Why he wanted to sacrifice? I don't understand this. Yeah, he sacrificed the exchange. He is changing the pieces. This looks very dubious, actually, this kind of play, because once you have the material disadvantage. You don't exchange the pieces.
You
The
try
more
to
you
keep the
exchange,
pieces.
the more you make the life of white easy. So I don't understand black's game at all here.
Me neither.
Exchanging the pieces, sacrificing the exchange, and then exchanging the pieces.
Me neither.
Do you understand this?
Me neither.
Maybe he thinks that he has a fortress or something, but it doesn't look like he has a fortress.
Position is open.
Yeah, it doesn't look like, because anytime black can re-sacrifice the exchange.
Like rook
Yeah,
E1, rook E5.
Sacrifice back the exchange. You know, this rook E1, rook takes E5, and he will have a strong postpone on D5.
Also, you know, the B4 is also weak, and after bishop C8,
Yes, and
white
also
played
pushing-
rook F4.
and now he's pushed F5. He's weakened king side as well. Once the queen goes to H6 or G5 somewhere, the king side will be really in danger.
You know, white played even simpler. After bishop C8,
They continue to play.
yes, bishop C8 to hold the bishop, rook F4,
Rook
and the
F4.
idea is to play queen D4 and queen B4. This is even simpler.
Yeah, collecting the pawn, or maybe immediately queen B8,
Also possible.
attacking
equalize.
both pawns.
Mhm.
So this is actually played very badly by white, by black. Sorry, black made. I mean, this exchange sacrifice. He had a good position. There was no need to make this exchange sacrifice at all. Taken here, and I don't understand this. Rook C3, Queen F2. What does he want? Maybe Bishop B6 was the threat. You see, this Queen A5 is always a problem.
Then play queen D8.
Yeah, but after Queen D8, Bishop D2. This is what he saw probably here in this position. He saw this. He said, "Okay, I'm losing a pawn. Let's sacrifice here." But I don't understand. The problem is that here,
Why
once
rook
you
C3?
you understand that this Queen A5, I don't understand. Look at
You
this
know-
position. You play Queen A5. What's this? What's the idea?
You play.
I just protect with B3 my pawn.
You know, he probably thought about after he plays A5, after A5, C3, BC, knight C3, B5 square is weak. You know, there are such
A5,
ideas.
C3, I don't
Instead of
understand.
queen A5, there's A5,
Yes.
C3, BC, C3, BC, knight C3, and knight B5. He was probably afraid of pushing the A pawn.
Yeah, but you also have weaknesses on the queen side. Knight C5, knight
Yes,
B3.
this is not,
Yes,
so,
it
this is not so
compensates.
strong. Mhm.
Yes, it compensates both sides. There's no need to, I mean, sacrifice. I mean, to come with the queen on A5. Well, anyway, you come to A5, F4, G6, all these moves have happened. And now you have to know that this queen on A5 is not in the game now. You have to find a way to put the queen in the game in a good position. Rook C3. Now after Queen F2, he understood that his queen will be in danger, because after Knight C6 and Bishop B6, the queen will be trapped.
You know, there are moves are active or seemingly active. Black played all the seemingly active moves, but they are not active actually.
Yes.
So far we
Can I
have,
have water in your place?
we have also the results. Like Ukraine is leading 1.5 versus half against Israel, and Russia is leading by 2 versus 0 against the United States of America, and Bulgaria is leading against China by 1.5 and half. And we have another results. Armenia and Turkey 2 cause. There's a draw.
In Bulgaria, who won?
Who won? Dimotarziev on the last board.
Now we're speaking about this game, and who drew?
Who drew? Let me check. Hiyi versus Gergana Pecheva.
Okay.
She saved the
Woman
game
player
actually.
Gergana is playing very well. And Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan,
All the games are still continue.
Uzbekistan, Belarus.
Javair Sindarov won against
Yeah,
Sarwat
we know
with the
that,
queen
we know-
sacrifice.
We know this. Yes, okay. They are leading.
Ukraine,
So Ukraine, Israel.
On the first board, Platon Galparin won. You know, Platon Galparin. Ferid was saying that white is better, and he won. And the last board, Mosesov versus Musyuk, ended in a draw. Mosessos versus Musyuk on the last board here. Draw. Mm-hmm.
So Ukraine needs one more point to win the match. Okay, let's check the Turkey White's last two boards. Kaan Aydınçebeli plays with white pieces versus Katopodis.
There's 2-0 also.
Russia 2-0 versus United States.
Yes.
Kirill Shubin has won versus Justin Chen, and Leia Garifulina versus Marta Samadashvili. Okay, Kaan Aydınçebeli is playing against a strong FIDE master from Greece, Dimitrios Katopodis, 23-53. So this is the position, I guess the last position.
Is this?
Yes. Let's check quickly the opening. Karakan.
Exchange. You know, black seeming they have no problem in the setup, but
This bishop d3 and bishop e2, bishop f5, bishop e2. I don't understand.
understandable
I don't
because you know
understand.
bishop f5 cannot stand longer after h3 and g4.
Yes, but I don't. Still, I don't like it.
Take 97.
c4.
On the only move to hold the pawn on e5. Okay. Actually, it
Bishop
is
d5.
seemingly
Looks
an equal.
equal,
one.
yes.
Mhm. Rook d1. Knight
Knight
b3.
b3, why?
Knight c5. Knight d4.
Maybe b3. Why knight b3? Okay, anyway.
Logical one.
Okay, knight
Let's
e5.
Is
Many maneuver
improving.
with the attacking the these black squares of black looks weak because now I don't know, bishop c5, maybe will come knight c7.
Also, there is no queen e4 after bishop f1. Yes,
But
that's why he played
an
g4.
unexpected move happened.
g4.
G4, very unexpected actually. Probably white didn't expect this. He played what? He played something. I don't see.
Let's check.
Did he take
H4
on
or
bishop
something.
f4. What's this?
He will take with the queen on h3. Creative
He
defense.
takes with the queen.
Creative
Yes,
defense.
Yes.
He also wants to play queen to g3 after bishop f8, let's say.
Yes. But
Creative
is
one.
bishop takes g2 possible? No, maybe bishop takes e5 first.
g8, and queen g3. Nothing is happening.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, actually this bishop f4 interesting.
But Kaan
Is knight
Aydınçebeli
F-
only
knight-
has 3 minutes.
Knight f3, what about knight f3? But I don't want anything, maybe just maybe then the g takes h. Is it possible? Knight f3. What's going on?
King h1,
gh,
bishop f3.
bishop f3.
And king g1. My queen is holding the f3, and there are no squares for queen to penetrate over the h file.
Yeah, maybe there's nothing. So king h1, and then I cannot play this. What about knight h4 now?
Wow.
Knight
Okay,
h4.
knight h4. How about get rid of some of your initiative, like rook takes d5.
Yes, you finally sacrificed that.
Yes, rook d5, but it's a temporary one. There is a rook d5, yes, rook d5, knight c7. After gh, I will play queen takes h3. Oh, they play something.
What
He played something else, like
do you see?
he didn't play knight f3. I cannot see what he played. He marched something forward, like f5 or so. Did he play f5? It seeming like
F5?
this so.
Really? F5?
f5.
No, there is an f7 pawn there.
What did he
Not
play?
f5.
Bishop e4? No.
Maybe bishop e4, yes. I think bishop e4.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he doesn't want to make the sacrifice, as you said.
Mhm.
Rook
Makes
takes and knight
sense.
c7.
But
Bishop e4.
he played queen g3, of course. Bishop
Why
e4.
he's playing so fast?
He has only 2 minutes.
Still, but you can think, you know, this is not so easy to
I think
find
queen
a good
g3 is logical.
queen
You
g3.
can make such moves quickly.
Because it's logical.
To me, it is.
So you don't make your the moves that you are not making faster. They are not logical.
It is the aristology.
Yes.
If something is not that, the
If
else
it's logical, move fast. If it's not logical, you can think. Good.
No, he played queen e4 instead of bishop e4.
Ah, queen e4.
So that's why.
Queen e4. So it was forced to move.
Did he lose a piece after queen g3?
What do you mean?
Queen e2?
Maybe rook e1.
Maybe knight c7 first, because queen takes b5 over there. Did he lost a piece? Or knight c3? No, sorry. Knight c3? He actually didn't, probably.
Maybe there's
But
some composition here.
after knight e5, knight e7, bishop e5, there are also threats. Interesting. And he played
Maybe
queen
knight
g3.
f3 check also is possible now.
Oh, g,
Gf, queen f. And what's this position?
knight d5, let's say,
Knight
yes.
d5, knight. Maybe
Still unbalanced.
knight d5, no, I cannot take. I'm losing a piece. So it's not.
Rook d5, but it is still no, queen f3.
Yes, queen.
Not
rook
that easy.
d5,
Queen
yes.
f3. Yeah.
Queen f3, it doesn't work.
Knight f3.
So knight f3 doesn't work.
So
So
you just,
maybe he calculated this line.
Mhm.
Interesting move, actually. So if it's working, then this queen e4 move doesn't seem to be a good move, you know, because the queen is really exposed there in
Yes,
the center. Now
exactly.
knight c3 is the threat. There are many threats. Knight c7 is the threat. Many threats. So I think
it was
black
kind,
played not very accurately here.
he maybe got too excited about the possibility and he jumped over. You know, maybe it was a trap of whites
Or maybe is he thinking to take on h3?
first.
Yes. What's going on here? No, knight c3.
No, it is
means
queen g2. It's not happening.
So maybe he's thinking to take on h3. What's going on here?
I'm also thinking about rook takes d5, but it is not the case. No, it is not the case. Oh, he played what? Queen takes e2. He didn't even think about gh. It was a serious
Knight
possibility.
c3 immediately played.
He took with the queen on e2. Why?
Queen
Why
takes
don't you think
e2,
about
knight,
this?
Knight c3 immediately played. Okay, so it's getting like in this position actually looks like white is better. If there is no something tactical here. Do you see something?
It appears
Knight
to me it is
F3,
not.
If knight f3 not possible, which we analyzed that it's not possible because of gf, queen f and knight d5. So well, I don't see anything here. Queen takes b2 may be only move, but I can even take on e5. What do you think? Or maybe d5 or e5. Which one is better?
I think first
d5.
First d5. Because I also can take over g4.
Now it's getting dangerous for black because the queen side, the king side is getting very
After
weak.
gh, there is bishop h6.
Yes. It's getting very dangerous now for black. Yes, so probably Kaan Aydın Çelebi has now a good position. Some inaccuracies from black side. Here, I think, after queen e4, queen g3, gh was possible if I don't make a mistake here.
How about bishop takes h6? No, queen g2. It is not possible either. No.
I don't know why he didn't
Ah,
want
they play so fast. They made some moves.
Queen somewhere.
They made some moves.
What's going on here?
Instead of gh, can you see the moves?
Queen G3, Queen takes E2, Knight C3. I don't see anything.
Did he play Queen F3? No, Knight F3 or so.
Knight C3.
He's also checking annotation or so.
I think Knight F3 check.
We already calculated that.
Knight
nothing
F3
has-
check. He played Knight F3 check, which is not good.
Yes, we have been.
Maybe there is this move. GF, Bishop
Bishop
takes C3.
But-
Maybe he calculated this.
How about
Queen G4.
Queen
But
G4,
Bishop
but-
G7 back.
Bishop G7 back?
No, Bishop G7, Bishop takes H6. And mate.
But
No,
there is
Queen
Queen
E5.
E5.
There is Queen E5. So it doesn't work. So Bishop takes C3. Maybe we missed this move. Bishop takes C3. So he calculated well this line. Knight F3 and Bishop takes C3.
He took with
And what did the
GF after Knight F3. Bishop takes C3 is gonna happen. Yes,
Yes, he did play Bishop takes C3. He's playing so fast. I don't understand why he's playing so fast.
BC, and they are heading
Maybe
for a
he's-
position with opposite colored bishops.
But now he doesn't have good position because the C3 is. I mean, this Queen takes F3, Queen takes F3. I don't know. Maybe GF. Maybe Bishop takes F3.
Also,
Black is much better here.
black is in
Pawn up,
but not
pawn
a
up.
pawn up, because you know at the end I will take the H6.
Yes, but
What if you just protect?
maybe GF then if you are taking H6 because I also attack A2 pawn.
So C4 is needed. C4, and I will take H6.
I take E6.
But Bishop
I
E6.
can take E6. What's going on?
They play something else.
BC he played.
Yes, BC. After a thought.
He will play Queen takes F3. Okay. Yeah, most probably this is better for black, but we'll see. Maybe some chances for white to make draw.
To hold to draw.
Yeah, because this
Possibly.
line after Knight F3 and Bishop takes C3, he found it very well. Katopodis. Okay, let's move to the third board. Fourth board. Ekin Barış Özenir, FIDE
Şahsi Lefteriou.
versus Andreas Şahsi Lefteriou. 22-58. Şahsi Lefteriou Özenir. Draw. This is draw. Finished. Okay. So this is finished. Just right now, they may draw on the last board. Okay, the last board is draw. So maybe what do you say we go back to Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan, Belarus and
Okay.
check, and then we give a short break. Let's check this. Do we have it here? No, we don't
Probably
have it.
not.
We don't have it here. Okay, maybe we check these games. And first board, Abdusattarov is playing. Let's go to Abdusattarov. This is draw. Abdusattarov Lazovic is draw. So it ended in a draw. Muratli Ahmet Abdusattarov. Let's go to Süleymanlı Aydın versus
Muratli versus
Aksakoyan.
Nogerbek.
Huh?
It was Muratli versus Nogerbek.
Muhammed Muratli, yes. No, sorry.
They are playing against Kazakhstan, not Uzbekistan.
We are checking Uzbekistan. Okay, let's check Uzbekistan. Abdusattar and Noderbek draw. And Sindarov wins. Ali Kasimov, what is he doing versus Ivan
Ivan
Runets? Kasimov. Let me find this game. Kasimov. Runets.
Azerbaijan won their first game.
Okay,
By the way.
Kasimov. They won?
Süleymanlı
Last-
won against Bibisara Subayeva.
Süleymanlı Aydın has won.
Against Bibisara Subayeva.
Okay, it's Azerbaijan
Leading 1.5.
1.5. No,
Versus
1-0. First board not draw.
They draw.
They not draw. Maybe I thought draw, but it was
No,
not.
this is also draw. And
This is
the
also
second-
draw,
Yes,
are you
this is
sure?
also a draw.
So we will check the last two boards. Okay, in this third board of Uzbekistan, Ali Kasimov is playing with white pieces versus Ivan Runets from Belarus. The last move, okay, bishop
Actually,
b5.
You were right. You
They
know,
didn't make draw.
Yes,
I
Azerbaijan is
thought-
leading
I thought
by
so.
1-0.
Yeah, I thought so.
We are checking Ali Kasimov versus Ivan Runets, the
Rook
third
E1.
board of the Belarus versus
Bishop
Uzbekistan match.
C6. Okay, this position, of course, the material is even, but some chances for both sides because white has a post pawn on the queen side, but of course not easy to convert this pawn, and this knight on b2 is not so comfortable there. If I, for example, go to f1 or maybe even a6, afterwards rook b1, where the knight goes, or rook a2. I don't understand.
Knight is going to fall, or rook b8. Let's say rook b8.
Maybe rook b8 and
Mhm.
takes on b4.
But is it so certain? Because knight d4 happens after rook b8. There is knight d4.
Yeah,
It is not that certain. Because after knight d4, I will play b5,
but then I can go knight c4.
c4. But
I don't want to play this. Wait, what about bishop f1? I don't want to put my
okay,
bishop.
rook b8 again.
Rook b8. Now I have this, maybe this.
Rook a6 or no? No.
No.
Bishop
This,
b5.
the thing is, can I? No.
Because knight d3 is also escaping. And you
No,
cannot
yeah,
play rook
I
a2.
can take on d3, but the problem is we protect both
Mhm.
rook b1, rook a2, but we can protect with the other rook. So maybe knight is not trapped here. Also knight a4 is possible. Yeah, maybe bishop a6, rook b8 is holding. Yeah. So bishop c6 is a good move, bishop f1, and now maybe at some point rook b8, and then it looks like black is okay. Because I don't know how to protect this pawn.
You just play knight d4 and b5.
Knight d4, bishop somewhere,
And b5.
b5. You protect
Mhm.
like this.
And I also
If
want to,
e5,
yes, take and knight c6. Or yes, take
yeah.
knight c6. I'm still, you know,
you can
fighting back.
continue with knight c6. Okay.
Mhm.
So probably
Not that easy.
Probably not so easy. Yeah, you're right. Knight d4, and now problems. Maybe I have to play. What was the difference?
Did they play something?
I don't know. Okay, what
No,
happened?
they played a couple of moves. There
Bishop f1, rook,
Rook
a8.
A8.
I don't understand.
Did they play he
Why,
took?
why not rook?
They are
E8?
exchanging. No.
I think maybe they exchanged something.
Mhm.
Takes.
And he's
He
thinking.
played something.
No, he's
Maybe
thinking.
rook b1.
He's thinking.
What
Rook
is it?
b1, rook a2,
Or b5.
first b5, bishop b7,
Then maybe e5. I don't know.
e5, bishop f3. No, he played rook b1. Kasimov played rook b1.
Rook b1, probably
Yes.
knight a4, let's say. But now e4 is not protected,
This is the case.
and knight c3 is coming.
So e5 is needed. Okay.
No, I don't like this move.
D or knight e5.
Mhm.
Knight e5
Knight
and
d5.
knight d5 or knight c3.
Maybe bishop d5.
Why not knight d5? Okay, bishop was on pre. That's why.
Yeah, but still black white
I
is
think,
okay. Maybe
yes.
in a b5 is.
This is probably ending in a draw.
Yeah,
I think.
maybe still white some chances because of this b pawn. Okay, we'll see this game. So it was the which game?
The third game of the Uzbekistan versus
okay, the
Runets
fourth
and
game.
Madaminov versus Siniavski.
Okay, Madaminov, Sinyanovsky. Let's check this.
Madaminov is black and Siniavski is white.
Okay, Madaminov.
It may also end in a draw.
No, sorry.
It will also end in a draw probably, I guess.
This is a rook ending with 2 pawns each. Yeah, well, it will end in a draw most probably. This rook ending. Okay, so let's go to Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan first board. Azerbaijan on the first board. Muratli versus Nogerbek. Oh, what's going on here? Rook takes G7 happened. Aha.
Is the
B5,
game winning?
B6 is winning, I think. Queen takes G7.
King G7.
King G7 and B5.
King F8. Aha, B6, Bishop C8 and D7.
Yes, this is winning.
Nice.
He calculated, of course, before he sacrifices. So Azerbaijan, I think, is winning. Definitely.
Definitely.
So this he was exchange up anyway.
Actually, they shook hands.
Yes, he was exchange up.
White won.
White won. So Azerbaijan now is leading 2-0 in this match versus Kazakhstan. And let's check the number 3 of this match. Ahmedzadeh Ahmed versus Isanjulov. Okay. Is this the match? Wait a minute.
No.
No, not this one. Sorry. Okay, this is the match. This is the game between Ahmedzadeh Ahmed and Isanjulov. Ahmedzadeh is playing white pieces, and this is the position. Looks
He
like
played Bishop D7.
Bishop D7. He wants to probably play
Queen E6.
E6.
But how about Rook takes F1, Bishop E6, and Rook takes
Rook
F1?
takes
How
F1.
about?
What's going on here?
Is it for real?
Yes, Bishop E6 check.
Rook F7?
And then Bishop takes and Queen takes H7.
Wow, nice.
Okay, so probably he calculated this. And
He
then
played
the
Queen E7.
Queen E7. What's this ending? Is it winning for white?
Probably white wants to go directly in the bishop ending. Let's say Queen E6 check and take, and you play King F4, H4.
Is it winning?
King G7. Also, you also can play Rook B1, and it is probably winning. After Rook B1, it's probably winning.
Yes, Rook B1. True.
Because Rook is going to every square.
This is totally winning. Yeah, Rook B5 is the threat now,
Bishop
attacking
C6.
both pawns,
Rook
and
B6.
this is also totally winning. So Azerbaijan actually is crushing Kazakhstan. It will be 3-0, and in the last board, Govhar Bedullayeva. Let's see what's going on in this game.
It's already ended in the white's favor. Kazakhstan won on that board.
They lost. So 3-1 most probably will be the score of Azerbaijan versus Kazakhstan. Maybe it's time for us to give a short break, and then we will check other games between China, Bulgaria, Ukraine, Israel. Dear chess friends, we are back again First, before we go to the analysis of the games left, only 2 games left from the top boards. But let me give you some results. Azerbaijan has been beaten Kazakhstan 2.5 against 1.5. So Azerbaijan is leading together with Uzbekistan because Uzbekistan also has won his match against Belarus 2.5 against 1.5. Now we have 2 more matches remaining. This is China versus Bulgaria, because now the situation is 1.5 against 1.5, and this is very important. The last match, the last game remaining, Kaifeng Yu versus Momchil Petkov. Kaifeng Yu is black pieces, Petkov with white pieces, and this is the position with reverse color bishops.
He played bishop c4.
But black is a pawn up, trying to win this game. He played what?
Bishop c4.
Here now king h2 is the game. Probably black played something.
Oh yes, black played like g5.
Rook h8. Looks like rook h8.
Rook h8.
Bishop c4, and then rook b8. I think. Is this the position? No. There's also king g2.
King g2 g5. King g2 g5.
King g2 g5.
Yes.
Now white's move. How to win this? I don't see any idea.
King f1
for black to win this.
He played king f1.
Yeah, he's waiting, of course. King f1, king g2. Do you see any idea? I don't see any idea. There is no pawn break here. No pawn break.
I cannot either.
There is no pawn break. There is nothing to.
He played what?
Rook b8 or something.
Rook b8.
It's just waiting moves. Okay, most probably it will be draw, because I don't see any idea to win this. Black cannot enter to the white's camp with the rook, because all the lines are closed. The white rook is occupying the D line, and the H line is closed because king is protecting, and there's no pawn break. All the pawns are blocked, and I don't see, unless black sacrifices a pawn in order to enter the white's camp, which is very unlikely. But why should I sacrifice a pawn? I don't see any weakness on the white's camp neither.
Maybe
so there is no problem for white here.
I agree, but maybe the only idea that you know, when black's rook is on h8 and white's king is on h2, let's say.
Why should I go to h2?
There is no
I
need.
will
but
wait to g2.
You know, I'm just trying to make some idea like g4.
This is not the case. You wait on g2.
If you play h2,
if
there's
you
g4.
play wrong, of course.
There's g4
there's
and
g4, but if you play, this is not the case. He will see most probably, because I don't believe this will happen. Anyway, this looks totally drawish. So let's go to Ukraine-Israel match. This match also 2.5, 1.5. So the last board is Yulian Malovany from Ukraine is playing against Lukin Elisha.
He won.
Okay, Malovany. Okay, the last board has won.
Mated actually
against Israel. He mated, yes. In this last position, he mated. So Israel has lost to Ukraine 2.5 against 1.5. Ukraine also is climbing to the top. China, if it's draw, China will be 2-2. It will be a very valuable loss for China together with Bulgaria, because now the situation will be, let's see, Kazakhstan will be 10. No, Kazakhstan lost. Kazakhstan 9 points.
Actually,
you found it. Okay, Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan and Uzbekistan are having 11 points out of 6, and Ukraine has 9 with this Malovany win, and Kazakhstan also has 9.
So 2 points difference between first two top teams, and third team on the third place, 2 points difference. The rest of the teams, how many teams with 9 points?
3 Ukraine, teams. Kazakhstan, Greece.
3 teams.
3 teams. And
so
also
Greece also is doing very well. They are climbing to the top.
If
Russia also trying to climb, but they have 8 points.
But if Bulgaria and China will draw, they will also have 9 points. So we will have possibly 5 teams on 9 points.
Yes, Bulgaria, yes, already has 8 points. Probably it will be draw, and 5 teams with 9 points. They will. Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan, but they played with each other. Sorry, Azerbaijan and Uzbekistan, they played with each other.
Yes.
Azerbaijan and Uzbekistan, they played with each other. So today afternoon they will face with other teams with 9 points. Most probably Azerbaijan will take Ukraine, and Uzbekistan will take which team? Greece, maybe.
Maybe Greece.
Greece, or maybe Bulgaria, or maybe China. One of these teams. Okay, so we are expecting this game will be draw, because I think they exchanged the rooks as well. From the position.
Did they? Yes.
From the position, I think they exchanged rooks. Let's see. Let's go back and take the moves. But there are no moves, Ismail. We don't have the moves. I think rook d8 has been played or something.
Probably.
Rook
Take
takes
with
d8,
bishop.
bishop takes d8. And I think this will be totally draw. Yes, maybe now it's time to...
He's asking a draw?
Yes,
draw.
They shook hands and the game ended in a draw. So we came to the end of this morning session for the 6th round. The 7th round starts at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So don't go away. See you at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Bye-bye.